The horse's name is KD Cadis. This horse is left in the gate so badly that you're thinking they're going to refund the money. That had to be a malfunction. There's no way
He
a
never
horse
even
would
left.
be.
He just stayed.
Yeah, no, I mean it's they call it refused or whatever.
He
I don't know.
just
There was a
said,
term
"Screw it."
for it when the horse just doesn't even break.
He just said, "Screw it."
So finally, he plops out of the gate like the field's already on the turn.
Oh my god.
So I lost track of the horse because
Oh,
they'll show you
that's
the numbers, but he ended up. I mean, he was flying at the finish and ended up picking up fourth. So
Really?
any kind of a reasonable start. This was a first-time
Oh,
starter.
my
any
God,
any
that's
kind of
impressive.
starter. If he breaks anywhere within 5 lengths of the field, he wins the race by 6.
That's impressive, actually.
KD Cadis.
Oh my god.
The time.
Wake up with Defo, joined by Lubie. Welcome to the Defo Show.
I can't believe I got home in time to do the show. Unbelievable. I was all the way out in Davie there at Nikita's, and the place was rocking. I left a little bit early because there was no reason to stay watching my Croatian soccer team. Now, I have no Croatian blood in me. I have no ties to Croatia. I don't really even know any Croatians. We picked Croatia out of the hat. We had Phil Shane, the ultimate soccer maven. Good morning, by the way, everybody. Before we get started here with this, I don't know. People know I'm going to end up trashing the sport, but that's inevitable. But and another 0-0 thriller in Manila. The people were treated to at Nikita Sports Bar. Opened up at 5 a.m. They opened up at 4, Lubie, to accommodate the crowds over in Davie. And the place was rocking. Sarney showed up. Can you believe it? Jim Sarney.
I love it. I love it.
He'd heard about the atmosphere there, and soccer is largely about the atmosphere because it certainly isn't about the game. After watching, honestly, that's like the third portion of a game that I've watched. The majority of, and all three ended up in 0-0 ties. Now you could say, I mean, and the comparison to hockey is a ridiculous. Absolutely absurd assertion that hockey's boring by comparison to soccer because it's fast-paced. They're knocking the crap out of each other. They're tough as nails. They're firing shots one after another. You'll see one goalie with 40 saves, the other with 50. That's 90 shots on goal in a 60-minute span. Whereas 80 minutes into this game, there were 12 shots on goal total. The field is massive. They need to, and they just run back and forth aimlessly the entire time. But the Croats really get behind their team. We picked them. Was it the last World Cup or 2 World Cups back, Louis? I can't even remember.
I don't know. I'm trying to remember. I think it was
And
last
they made a
World Cup.
gigantic run. We had Phil Shane, the ultimate soccer expert, on the show. I mean, there's nobody better, knows more about it. He's been a soccer advocate before it was even popular to mention the sport. And before, look, I believe this to be true, and you guys can argue all you want. I'm going to be seeing my grandchildren. God forbid. Now, I'm a believer. My dad had this philosophy. He told me this a long time ago, that his belief was live and let live. Not that you're on your own, kid. I've always got your back, but I'm not going to be telling you what to do every 5 seconds. You do something wrong, I'm not going to give you a whole wad of shit. You have to realize what it is that you're doing in life and go out and live your life for yourself.
For the opposite of your mom.
Well, I don't know. I mean, did your parents try to push you into being a lawyer or something like that? No.
They wish they had.
You wish they had been more successful doing it.
We had only been more annoying.
If I see a soccer ball around the house there with the grandkids, Liam and Christian, who are old enough now to be suckered into actually thinking this is a game, 7 and 4, but and I can't imagine that Jesse, because he kind of knows my position on the game, and I would have never forced him to play soccer, and thank goodness he didn't like it. He kind of liked hockey, actually. He was, big into hockey when he was a kid, but it's prohibitive because there are limited opportunities to play ice hockey, and roller hockey, while it's interesting, is not quite the same. That was big, very popular for a while. There were leagues and everything, and you had arenas being set up for roller hockey for kids, and Jesse was involved in some leagues there. But he essentially liked the major sports, right? He wasn't a big baseball guy. I think that's OOP for that particular generation. He's 40 now. I don't know that those kids played a lot of baseball. And I'm not sure if that's evidenced by the fact that nobody can play baseball anymore because everybody strikes out all the time, even at the big league level. But if I see a soccer ball around there, I'm going to be tempted to just, chuck it over the fence while nobody's looking and we're all in the pool.
Get away.
Just lob it right out of there. All right. I don't know that this fits so well. The Croatia shirt. What do you think?
That's good. It's annoying. I used to have mine. I used to wear it all the time.
It's a little messed up here, this Croatia shirt.
In the move, I don't know where it is. It's in a bag somewhere. So
okay. So you bagged your one soccer piece of memorabilia.
I'm moving, but I always wear it all the time. Yeah, I mean, we got it from a special friend. She sort of, I guess, mocking us or urging on your prediction that almost came true.
Oh, that was Lindsay Visser. Yeah, no, gave us the shirts. Well, otherwise, would I go out and buy is this actually? Yeah, it is. It's a World Cup Croatian soccer shirt.
Yes.
All right, very good. I don't know. I mean, Jim, he must have gotten home already also, or else he brought his computer to Nikita's. Nikita's was rocking, packed, standing room only. People were going crazy. Every time there was a shot opportunity, which there were 6 in the entire game, 97 plus minutes of pure unadulterated dreck. And they tied Morocco. So, yeah, off to a good start. This wasn't one of those games, I don't think, where you could have been disappointed like you were with the Americans in their tie with Wales at 1-1. At least there were 2 goals scored in that game, one on a penalty kick, of course, which is the only way they end up scoring in these games. You have to put a guy with no defense 3 feet in front of the goalie.
Then they can maybe score.
And then the guy goes, your mother. Does that work?
Yeah. Sometimes, not always.
Right?
It didn't work in there was another, what was it, Mexico and Poland?
Oh, they had a penalty kick blocked. Yeah,
they had a stop penalty kick. They couldn't even score there.
Now you have 1, 2, 3 women and Alexei Lalas going to analyze that zip tie. That was really something. I tell you what, the strategy there was clear cut. They did everything they could. Ugliness, such ugliness. That's all I'll say. All you people, I imagine Tony is, wrapped up in the World Cup also. Tony Segreto is going to join us later. He doesn't talk much about soccer. I'm not sure what kind of advocate he is, but you know how he's an advocate for everything that has the world stage. We'll see what he thinks about it. But for me, it was always torture, and watching these games, pure, unadulterated torture. I purposely left this television on because there's another game coming up at 8 o'clock, so you can see the reflection in the screen if you're a soccer person. Well, if you're a soccer person, you're probably not watching this show. But we should probably engage like Ray Hudson or somebody. We'll try and get some expert.
Ray, I'd like to get Shane. This week's been hectic, and you've been sort of on a diatribe, so I'm letting you do that. And then
I don't mean to be, though. You know what? I'm willing to accept it. I'm one of those guys. I'm willing to give it a shot. I mean, I watched a piece of this game, and I went out of my way all the way to Davie. You imagine driving to Davie 4 a.m? It was like going to work in the old days. Under the cover of darkness, you're on 595 there. People, you don't know if they realize that the express lanes are closed and they're going the opposite way. All kinds of crazy nut jobs are out there, drunks. And I risked, being involved with all of that to get to a place where there would be some kind of atmosphere. I don't want to sit, on a couch here and watch the game by myself. That would imagine if you're watching soccer alone. There's a pretty good chance you're on death row. And at the TV, you don't have access to change the channel. Warden, kill me now. Can I go now? Get a priest in here, a rabbi, get something. I want to go. I don't care about the last meal. Skip it. I don't care where it's from. It could be Joe Stone Crab. I don't want it. I just want to go to the chair.
You pass on the final meal.
Call the witnesses. Get them out of here. Call the press. I can't watch another minute of this shit.
Oh, my God.
Right. Anyway, let's hope it gets better before it gets worse. But I'm in support of my Croatian team. 0-0 to get 1 point. I don't know. What do they play? They play 3 games to get out of the group. Yes. And it seems like if you win one of them, you're in for the knockout round, which includes how many teams? The 2 teams advance from each group? Is that the way that works?
Down to 16. I think it's at 32, and then it gets down to 16.
Sweet 16. That's what it's all about.
Quarters, I guess. The next one would be the quarters.
All right. Well, hopefully you guys are enjoying this.
After you slam
right now, it appears to be just one gigantic, overwhelming farce from the site, from the surroundings, from the atmosphere, from the dark cloud that hovers over Qatar with every day of atrocities that go undocumented by the people on TV. And then the games themselves have been an absolute, unadulterated abortion. Just absolutely horrible stuff going on there. Everybody's celebrating because I think all 8 goals that were scored in the World Cup were in that England game against Iran.
Oh, my God.
Were there more than 5 other goals scored in the entire tournament? I don't think so. And look, it doesn't have to be about scoring necessarily. As people always allude to, yeah, you could have a 1-0 hockey game. It could be a thriller, right? Where you've had all kinds of action. I mean, the fast pace and everything, but the pace is just absolutely incredibly slow. And then the faking of the injuries is really. I saw a guy get carried off on a stretcher in this game.
I hate it. And then
and 2 seconds later, he was with the cheerleaders, like doing a pyramid.
He's like basing the pyramid.
Wait a minute, this guy just got carried out of here. 47 minutes and 45 seconds to Germany and Japan, in case you're, inclined to look at the clock. All right, a lot of things. Hey, it's a getaway day because, of course, tomorrow is Thanksgiving. Looking very much forward to that. Tom Tanazzini cooking up some stuff for me. I'm going to go pick that up. We're going to be out at the Even Keel Fish Shack later on today with one Michael Q. Mayo. That's right. He's going to, again, try to... He does this in a very deadpan fashion, you notice? And you know that he knows he's wrong. You can tell when, a guy that's talking to you knows that he's just making a useless, baseless argument. It's kind of like watching a Trump press conference. Just a useless, baseless, factless argument. All right. Based on nothing but just the fact that he wants to disagree with you or, stroke some kind of fire there and, ignite a flame of controversy. But you can tell, right, when Mike was on the show the other day and he was giving us the business about soccer, well, I like it. I think it's very good. That he really hates it. He does. I believe that. I don't want to put words in a guy's mouth. He's not here to defend himself, but
I don't think he hates it. I don't think he likes it as much as he lets on. Like, I don't think he's watching it year round. He doesn't talk about freaking the MLS. Definitely, he doesn't talk about EPL or La Liga. He is phony American, like you were talking about, like Blake Chadwick.
Every 4 years, we're like, oh, well, this is a great sport. I'll never forget this moment, though. It was right out of The Graduate in my lifetime, and I've told this story before, and I believe it was Sam Lefrak, the owner of Lefrak City. I was doing a very brief waiter's gig at the Sea Wayne Country Club in Hewlett Harbor, Long Island. I needed to make some money for a week. I was off from school, and I was going back for my senior year, but I was flat broke because I had given up the job at Shea Stadium the year before. And I was trying to make it off my savings, but I was going through money like it was water. I think I was buying a lot of weed, but it was cheap back then. But nonetheless, I mean, I had to work for a week, and I said, okay, let me take a job here. I got a job as a waiter, Sea Wayne Country Club, and there was a lot of highfalutin people, and I'm serving dinner. And you know this when you're waiting tables, that the people, no matter how many times they've been at your table, they literally have no interest in what your future is all about. Zero. And they'll ask you, no, I was a young guy, so, naturally the question would pop up, hey, so what do you want to do with your life? And I told Sam Lefrak, sort of a large man, he was kind of nice for a guy that was a slumlord, essentially, in Queens. And I said, I'm thinking about going into sportscasting. And he said, well, and this is, this would have been circa 1971, maybe? 71. And he said, the one thing that you want to concentrate on right now, if you want to get into sportscasting, is soccer. And I thought, soccer? What are you, crazy? What do I know about soccer? Nothing. I hated it, right? I mean, going back to Grand Avenue Junior High School, where I was when John F. Kennedy was shot. By the way, I was in the 7th grade, not the 8th grade. Because that was like, what? That was 1963? Okay, so I would have been 12 years old. So I couldn't have been in the 8th grade. I was in the 7th grade at the time. And I do remember distinctly that announcement coming over the speaker system in school. We were talking about it yesterday with Mike Mayo, who challenged us, asking us what was the significance of November 22nd. And fortunately, like 5 minutes before we went on the show, I happened to read that it was the anniversary of the Kennedy assassination in Dallas. So looked pretty smart there. I come right up with that, right out of nowhere. It was a very vague way of introducing the topic. What's the significance of this day? I don't know. Who the hell knows? But I remember being there, and Grand Avenue Junior High School is where I first was introduced to soccer. We played no soccer in Brooklyn. If we were going to kick something, it was like another guy.
I was going to say, kicking a can.
Kicking the can was big, but I never really understood that either. And is that a prelude for insane people to develop a game out of that? Yes. You got an empty can of baked beans, you find it in a garbage can, and you start kicking it around the street. I don't remember exactly what the point was.
Never played the game.
Kick the can? What was it?
I never got it. I remember that, was it the Twilight Zone episode where they were playing the games as old people and they became kids, and I think Kick the Can was one of them. And my dad would talk about Kick the Can. And I'm like, what the hell was the game, though? Like, I don't know.
Yeah.
What was the game?
Yeah, what is the point of it? Well, I mean, and it's perfect. foundation for
For
doing
soccer.
extrapolation and putting together a game like soccer. Because what is the point of the game? There is no point to the game. You just run back and forth, run back and forth, run back and forth. A couple of rule changes would help the game.
I'm telling you, just eliminate it offside. It'd be a really fun game. They're just going to
eliminate offsides and allow cherry picking. That would be number one.
That would be amazing. It would just be
number two, expand the goal, even though it's already humongous. Make it bigger. The entire baseline should be the goal. Anything that crosses the baseline should be a point. And maybe they should give 2 points if you actually put it in the net, and then 1 point if you just kick it past the baseline there. That would make the game more exciting. Make the field, I would say, reduce the field in size by 2/3. Make it a very tiny field. And then, as I said, expand the goal and allow offsides. Get rid of the offsides rule. And now you got a game, right? Be kind of interesting because you have to have a certain amount of what would it be? Athletic dexterity to be able to kick the ball and control it only with your feet. Well, the temptation is to just grab it and throw it in the fucking guy's face.
Soccer fans hate when Americans try to change soccer, and I'm like, you're allowed to like it, but you're stupid. Like, why would you not want it to be better?
This is for people who are confined in insane asylums. I think they were watching soccer on Cuckoo's Nest. I want my cigarettes. I started screaming at it in the keynotes. I want my cigarettes, and nobody knew what I was referring to. Exactly. But I was just kind of referencing the idea that you have to be an insane person to be watching this shit. It's unbelievable. All right, I'm not going to condemn it anymore.
That better, and he's right. Instead of penalties, you have the two badasses fight in the middle of the field.
Yes,
fight wins the game.
That's it.
It turns into MMA/boxing.
Just have them beat the shit out of each other.
It's already crooked. You might as well just combine the two crooked sports.
Yeah. Surprised Jose Suleiman didn't think of this game. What better game to fix? That Saudi Arabian upset still. I mean, one thing Mayo was right about. That should come under serious scrutiny there, especially since Messi is now advocating for Saudi Arabia to host the games. Where does that end, the corruption? FIFA is great because they're just, I don't want to say they're a lot like the previous administration, but they're just blatantly corrupt.
Oh, my God. Are you kidding me?
Never mind clean the swamp. They're just blatantly corrupt. I mean, whatever they do, you can imagine that it's reeking of corruption and, some kind of criminal activity. But, all right, so we got through the first game of the day, and I'm very proudly going to wear my Croatian shirt.
Do it.
I don't know. I probably ditch this in the middle of the show, but
you're embarrassed to be seen wearing World Cup.
Hey, I got through with Ball State last night, talking about irrelevant and insignificant things. Well, barely. I mean, they were getting 3 points, and they managed to lose by 1. They were up 17-6 going into the fourth quarter. They gave up 12 points.
Oh, Jesus.
So 12 points. That could have been 4 field goals. I didn't get to see that game. You had to be an ESPN Plus subscriber to watch this action, and I refused to put up the $100 for the year. Are you on the app there, ESPN Plus?
They do this thing with Hulu, ESPN Plus, and Disney Plus, and I like the kids will come over, my sister's kids, and we like Disney movies, and we do Hulu. So I combine it, and it's one price. That's the only reason I have ESPN Plus. I think I've watched it twice because by accident, one of the college football games I cared about was on, and I didn't even know I was watching it. Like, I'm not going, oh my God, there's an MMA fight for the 7th time this week on ESPN Plus. Because that's the only
they don't offer much. They did have that
sweet
Lomachenko fight on there. I was a little disappointed when I realized that wasn't on regular TV. And it's one of the few channels that I don't get. So, as I'm paying like $400 a month for cable television here.
Exactly. You have 12 streaming services. I love the cord cutting. Found a way to make it worse.
Yeah. What a world, man. What are we giving thanks for, Lubie? Are we giving thanks for anything? I mean, it's good to be alive, that's for sure. Yesterday was a beautiful day. Finally, the rain stopped. I was able to get out there in the afternoon on the tennis courts with my friend Big Jack. And this is one of the problems when you're playing guys that are 60-plus in tennis. And it was the original concept behind the Alzheimer's Cup with Eddie Kaplan and me, where the Capper and I played one game at Shula's in 100-degree heat in the middle of the summertime at high noon. And we had a long game that went about 20 points. And after the first game, we sat down and we were both exhausted, schwitzing enormously. And we looked at each other and we couldn't remember who served the last game. And it was like the first game of the match.
Oh, Jesus.
And yesterday, I mean, this happens with a lot of guys that I play now that are, in the 60-plus category. They can't remember not just the score of the individual game, but they can't remember. You're only playing to 6 games to win the set, unless it goes 7-5 or to a tiebreaker. But essentially, you're looking at most sets are like 6-3, 6-4, 6-2, whatever. So you're only talking about a small sample of games. So it's pretty hard to fuck up the score, isn't it? Where, I know for a fact that the score was 2-1 yesterday in the middle of my match with Big Jack, because we had played 3 games. And I don't really like to sit down that long between games because my walking has got me in decent enough shape where I don't really need to rest like for a half hour after playing 4 points of tennis, which a lot of people do. I don't know why, Lubie. And it's annoying, isn't it? When you're ready to play and the other guy's like, let's sit down for a while. And normally I wouldn't mind, but, after playing 1 game, do you really need to sit down for like 20 minutes and, tweak up your racket and all of that stuff? I don't think so. So we have one change, and the score is 2-1, and I'm looking across, and, he's about to serve, and he says 3-2. I'm like, wait a minute. It's only 2-1. We played 3 games. He's like, no, you're way off, Defo. It's 3-2. And I'm thinking, well, it's still a 1-game differential, but, we're going to essentially play 2 less games. But odd that you would not be able to keep track of the score in such a marginal number of games that you're playing, that you have no idea what happened in the previous couple of games. So, but it was a beautiful day, a lot to be thankful for here in South Florida. We live in paradise, and going to be a good time. And you guys can be thankful also, because you can play the Hialeah Park Trivia Challenge today, and Dave Gurggles Gergely going to join us here shortly. And all you have to do is dial up 954-417-0070, 954-417-0070, and you can get involved in the Hialeah Park Trivia Challenge, a special edition today, because we're not going to be with you tomorrow on Thanksgiving, Lubie and I, and I believe also, now it'll be a good day for the lunchbox, but Mike Mayo's going to be busy with his ex-wife cooks up, an unbelievable meal, like they were going to the Last Supper there. And so, and he's got the invite. That's kind of surprising, though, that he said it was off limits to bring, like, current girlfriends or people that you're involved with.
The girlfriend's fine. I get it, because the kid thing, first of all, she's 17. So it's not like she's a 4-year-old, and you're just canoodling with all these women. They've been divorced a long time now. Ever since we met him, they've been divorced.
No, this goes back years.
They're in good standing. Like they never do the on again, off again thing. So it's not like they still have romantic feelings. They get along really well.
Yeah.
So you're never, and they're both younger. They're in their 50s and 40. Like, you're not going to move on with your life. Like, that one, I don't understand. Like, I get maybe if it's, you don't bring flings, but like when you're in a serious relationship, then getting engaged and getting married, you're going to, oh, sorry, you can't come. Like, I feel like that's.
I used to like to show up to these things with a woman that was wearing pasties and a G-string. Introduce her to the family and hope that the exes were there. No.
You had different relationships with your ex.
No, it wasn't that way at all. But it is an odd thing, right? When family gatherings are happening and you've been divorced for a significant number of years, to bring now the Mustang comes to family gatherings, and my first wife, who's the mother of my son.
Man,
they get along fine, right? I mean, what's the deal? What does she want me back after 40 years? I don't think so.
No.
She probably looks and says, man, glad I got out of that one. What a wreck this guy became.
Oh, my God. Yeah, I don't understand that.
He was good looking when I married him. That was, 40 years ago.
Exactly.
Could have been, yeah. But, unfortunately, time. Nobody wins against Father Time. You're either going to lose by a quick KO or lose by a 12-round decision. But you're losing to Father Time each and every time. So be happy. Be thankful. Love everything that you're doing. Enjoy life. We're going to have a party today here on the show. Kind of loosey-goosey. We did get home, like I said, with Ball State. I lost, though, big. With Bowling Green. Bowling Green.
Ken was all over Bowling Green, and then I looked at him like, oh, maybe we'll change the channel.
What a gutter ball that was, man.
Jesus.
By the way, aside from knowing soccer, the quickest way to the top in the sportscasting business right now, Lubie, if you don't have a parent that owns a network, is to be a hot chick.
Oh,
my God.
Yeah. And not to be sexist, but yes.
Oh,
Yes.
it's absolutely the truth. Okay, because I'll give you an example, right? I just came
so.
across this. I'm perusing some stuff on CBS Sportsline, and of course they have the usual thing. The 10 hottest sportscasters,
Wow. Okay.
female sportscasters in America, and that comes up quite a bit. So there was a young girl who actually sent me an inbox message many years ago. Not that many, but maybe 7-8 years ago, maybe a little bit further back than that, but not too far in the distant past. And she was just getting out of the University of Oregon, where she was a cheerleader, and I guess she was sending inquiries and queries to anybody that was established as a sportscaster, which I was. And somehow she came across me, befriended me on Facebook, sent me, a message, suggestions. She wanted what she should do. And who am I to tell anybody what to do in this business? And so she ended up getting a job as like a fringe reporter for some small Arizona cable network. And I just saw her listed. She's a very attractive girl, obviously a cheerleader at Oregon, probably, on the good looking side. And she happened to be very attractive, a young blonde. She got this job right away out of school. And now, a few years later, she is the in-game reporter for the Boston Celtics.
Oh, geez. Okay, good for her.
You talk about a monumental climb, right? And listed number 2 on the list of the hottest sportscasters. I probably should have sent her some more advice, right?
I was going to say,
why did you move to Florida? Now, what chance does a 71-year-old guy have with a woman who would obviously be in her late 20s?
Zero.
0.0, yeah, unless I could really flash some cash.
I was going to say.
Obviously, this woman has a wherewithal to make it on her own. But Boston Celtics reporter goes right out of school and is like on the sidelines there, an in-game reporter for the Boston Celtics, which your good friend Rachel Nichols, the human kiss of death, actually made her big climb when she got the job reporting on the NBA with the Washington Bullets. They weren't the Bullets, the Wizards. There were the Bullets in my day when Gene Shue had the crew cut and the high-top sneakers that he was wearing all the time on the sidelines. All right, Dave Gurggles Gergely going to join us. Dial us up. I don't know what kind of response we're going to get on the Hialeah Park Trivia Challenge. I'm not sure the usual suspects are going to be lined up today, but hopefully you're out there.
It's a little rough. This is the day we talked about. When are people leaving? This is the day that people really start to tap out. So I'm curious who's involved today.
Is every highway clogged with traffic? No matter where you're going today. Is that true? Gurgs joins us here on the show. And if you want to play the game, it's 954-417-0070. David, how are you? You look good today, my friend.
Very good. Thankful, of course, for this time of year. We're busy at the golf course, although right now it looks like Basil Rathbone and Nigel Bruce should be looking for the Hounds of the Baskervilles. A little bit foggy out here.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah, very foggy.
I like playing golf in the fog. I don't know about you. I really do.
You can't see it anyways. You might as well.
I think I'm in the fairway here, and if we don't find it, I'll just drop one there because I think that's where I landed.
Play with the pants with the hole in one pocket, just drop another Titleist right on the ground. You got a great lie. You're ready to go. But my favorite Thanksgiving Day story goes back to probably the late 90s. And my mother was still alive back in Pennsylvania. I decided to fly out of Miami or Fort Lauderdale to Pennsylvania to surprise her for Thanksgiving. And I'm the smartest guy in the world. So I know Wednesday's a busy travel day. Tuesday's a busy travel day. What's the least busy travel day on the airport? Thanksgiving Day.
Yes.
Made my reservation for Thanksgiving Day. Drove to the Fort Lauderdale airport. No traffic at all. Thanksgiving morning. I go, I'm the smartest man in the world. I get there. Guess what? No parking. It's all gone.
Oh.
$40 a day valet. Learned my lesson on that Thanksgiving Day.
I hope you're coming back the same day, Dave. Did you come back that day also?
No. I stayed a few days. I trusted that. And how did Atlantic City treat you?
Oh, great. I had a wonderful time there. I really did. The Mustang got stung pretty badly on the slot machines, but that'll only incur her even more favors with our casino host, who couldn't treat us any better. So, I'm getting lavish treatment there. A suite of rooms, the likes of which I might have had, maybe one or two times where I had nicer accommodations, I guess. You can't really compare any place to the accommodations you get at Jimmy Johnson's Big Chill, if you're lucky enough to get one of those rooms there. But and it's not really a room; it's like a 3-bedroom, condo that is absolutely exquisite and beautifully appointed. But this is right up there, and you don't realize how many waterways there are in Atlantic City. I mean, you know that it's on the ocean there because you can go to the boardwalk, but anytime
Sure.
you go to the pier in the wintertime, you're thinking about jumping. Because, as I've said many times, that was one of the jokes that stuck with me when we saw a freebie comedy show there a couple of years ago. And this guy gets up and he says, it's the only place where you walk out on a pier and you're looking at the ocean and it's depressing. Atlantic City, New Jersey. I mean, the water's brown. It's rank. If you go in the wintertime, I guess in the summer, it, kind of has a little bit more of a vibrancy to it. But beautiful combinations. Right away, a $300 comp at Gordon Ramsay Steakhouse, which is in Harris, and they have several really nice high-end restaurants. They're all very pricey, but when it's free, it doesn't matter. And the weird thing was that the Mustang can't help herself because she hates it when I don't look at the check and I just pay it. And I usually leave what I consider to be a fairly generous gratuity. But this was free, right. And the waitress server came to the table and said, your comp has covered everything, which, everything was a little bit pricey, but we couldn't spend the $300 between the two of us. Yeah, and then Mustang says, let me see that. And she's mad that they put a $20 charge on this check that she didn't agree with.
Who cares?
I said, but Mustang, we're not paying for it anyway. Who gives a flying one? If it's $260, it doesn't matter. If it's $280, we're still going to be eating up this comp. But they're not going to give us the money back.
I'd rather use all of it, actually.
No cash value, the usual, situation is. And, so she was scrutinizing that. But and then we got in at Chef Vola's, which is my favorite place. I don't know. I don't think you've ever been there, but you should give it a shot, Dave, next time.
I've been in Atlantic City many times, but I was more the Anthony and Captain's
Doc's.
Table and all
you
those
like
places.
Doc's Oyster House, right?
Doc's, the old knife and fork 100 years ago. Yeah.
No, there's some great places there. What I like about Atlantic City is you have easy access to local restaurants, and there are a lot of good ones, and they all have kind of the same vibe to it. I really like that, a good, sort of restaurant that's actually a bar, but the food's really good. And they have a dining room, but you could eat at the bar there. I like that, and everybody's watching sports and having a good time, and it's a big family type of place. Also, so I had a great time. I had 2 winning days at the horse track. So I was over at the Borgata, and we were betting the bullshit tracks that are available on Tuesday and Wednesday because those were the 2 days I was able to get there. So good time had by all. Can't wait to get back there. My walk of life was spectacular around the marina, and they got, believe it or not, like a very nice nature trail outside on the back of Harris, between Harris and the Borgata. They have this nature trail in what would you call it, wetlands that they have there, where they have a lot of different birds and everything. So very, very nice. Had a good time. People would consider it cold. It didn't bother me that much. I was one of the few guys walking around outside with shorts on. Everybody looks at you like you're an insane person. Right, they're wondering, what criminal activity you're going to be engaged in later on in the day, or whether or not they should call 911. But no, really wonderful. And then the trip back, I really felt good about myself because even at 71, Gergs, I was one of the youngest guys on the bus going back to the airport, if not the youngest. And so I felt good because there were a lot of guys there. The over/under, we hit both ends. Over/under on wheelchair assistance getting on the plane. And the greatest part about it was the number went up on the return trip. There were people that became impaired while they were there for 3 days, to the point where they needed wheelchair assistance to get on the plane, or else they realized what a great scam it was to get on the plane first and decided to ask for wheelchair assistance. But all of those guys sprinted like Usain Bolt once they got off the plane, either to the bus on the way there or the baggage claim on the way back. But no, good time had by all. I can't wait to go back. And now, what are your plans now for Thanksgiving? Going to be at the golf course?
I'll be at the golf course. It is, I'm work commission. It's renewal season. Our members' yearly agreements end the end of November. So I have a list of all the guys. I check to see their tee times. I write up to them and say, hey, just sign right here. You're all set for next year. And we'll be busy. Friday is the busiest day of the golf course for the year.
Oh, I imagine.
Everyone's off. Great weather.
The guys play golf. Yeah. So, and our Canadian friends are back in town. So we'll be busy on Thanksgiving Day.
As well. He loves the Canadians. No, he loves the Canadians.
And I do, as far as the golf course goes. They are the most respectful players as far as following cart path only rules, replacing divots, showing up early for their tee times. Whether they tip or not in a restaurant, that's not my business. But as far as the golf goes, we'll take the Canadians all the time.
So you're happy, and the people in the restaurant and the hotel are all depressed now.
And on the roadways.
I know. I will say this then. There's a differential in sports because, and that's interesting that they would abide by the rules of golf and be courteous and, all of the rules that the golf course lays out there about proper play and trying to keep the course in shape. Tennis, just the opposite. A lot of French Canadians play at the Pompano Municipal Tennis Center. Fortunately, they're playing at times that I'm not usually there anymore. But it wouldn't be uncommon, when your ball rolls over to the next court, for a guy of French Canadian descent to just pick the ball up and put it in his pocket. and then they're very adamant about the idea that when their ball rolls over to your court, that you immediately get it, no matter what's going on in the middle of a point. Hey, can you get that ball? And it's like, hey, listen, Jack, man, it wasn't really impeding our play, and we want to finish the point there. Just shut up. But then they'll shovel the ball in their pocket. And you have to shake them upside down, turn them upside down, and go, see that? It's a pen 4. You guys are playing Wilson 2s. Now, what is that doing in your pocket there? Unbelievable. So they don't abide by any kind of rules of courtesy. If you're in grocery stores, and certainly on the tennis courts and restaurants, well, that's a story for the Mike Mayo lunchbox, which, I don't even know if he wants to indulge in that kind of activity. All right. We're ready for the trivia challenge, and we're going to get into that. You can dial us up. The Chronic is on board here, and dial us up at 954-417-0070, 954-417-0070. And, of course, the trivia challenge brought to you by our great friends at Hialeah Park. Going to be a festive weekend at Hialeah Park, open on the weekends until 5 a.m. They do a great job there. Simulcasting, you want that. Room, honestly, Dave, you've been to a million simulcasting rooms, I'm sure, all over the country, all over the world. We were out in Vegas. We were having a good time there at Caesars. You were hoisting a few, and it's real nice. But I don't know that there's a better one, and I mean this in all sincerity, than the Champion Simulcasting Room at Hialeah Park for accommodating the horse player.
Yeah, especially for convenience. You're steps away from the window. They got the machines if you don't want to deal with the tellers. And you have the option to watch, 40, 60-inch big screen TVs with every track you could think of. Or, like I like, get your own private table where you can adjust the volume and hear the call for the race that you're watching live. So it's the best of both worlds. And you're steps away from the bar right there, which
Grass Trail Bar. Beautiful.
Yeah, $3.50 beers, great food. My favorite, I get a nice, neat Macallan if I'm doing really well. And then if I feel like it, I walk out front, see the flamingos, take a break, bring my racing form and a Perdomo cigar and my Macallan, and I'm in heaven. And it's steps away from the Palmetto Expressway, right off I-75 where it hits the Palmetto, not far from 95. And once you get in Hialeah Park, it blends the new world with history in such a great way and a fan-friendly way, too.
One of my favorite landmarks here in South Florida is I take 95 south to 103rd Street and then make a left on East 4th. And, the classic landmark there is a Hialeah High School where, you got the big sign as you make that turn, home of the thoroughbreds. Right. And I'm thinking, this is the home of the thoroughbreds when it comes to the nickname of the high school. But I'm only blocks away from the home of what was one of the great staples of the thoroughbred industry for many, many years. And now just a terrific place when it comes to casino gaming. That's beautiful, Hialeah Park. Great food and drink. And I would imagine, check the website. I didn't really look into this. I probably should have. But I would imagine they have something special going for Thanksgiving and all of their patrons there.
I'm sure they do.
Usually have like a great deal on the family meals.
And they started a new restaurant on the very first floor. Open air dining right on the first floor before you go up the escalator to the simulcasting area.
Oh, and nice.
Speaking of the Hialeah Tea-Breads, they're two most famous graduates, right?
Charlie Huff.
And?
Bucky Dent.
How about Ted Hendricks?
Ted Hendricks.
Nice.
Yeah.
I don't know if Bucky Dent. I think he was Hialeah High School. I know Charlie Huff was.
I think he was too.
Yeah.
Dent, Huff was, but Ted Hendricks was an honor student there, as a matter of fact. Born in Guatemala and attended Hialeah High. I always reach out to him and lovely Linda in the Chicago area around the holidays to see how they're doing. I haven't seen Ted in a while, but I will reach out again. And we're getting ready for Larry Little's tournament coming up a week from Saturday.
Oh yeah, now when's the dinner?
I don't know how many Hall of Famers that. Yeah, Friday night will be the Hialeah dinner. That's exactly right. Hopefully,
not this Friday night, right?
No, Friday the 2nd.
Okay.
Friday, December 2nd. Yep.
Is that only a week away? Are you kidding me?
Well, it's a week from this Friday.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
Okay. Yeah, that sucks. I would have to go if I was in town.
I don't know if Leslie Visser will be there since we lost our dear friend Sam Jones, who was the highlight for both her and me. But
there are a lot of great people there, man. I dig talking to the Merc. I always dig talking to Mercury Morris at those things. Which you don't really talk to Mercury Morris. He kind of, you say, "Hey, Merc, how you doing?" And then, hours later, after you've heard from everything from Nietzsche to Don Shula, in terms of philosophical viewpoints, you say, hey, "Good seeing you, Merc." No, he's a great guy. A lot of good people, including Larry Little, and Hialeah always immersed in community activities, and they just do a tremendous job. All right, we have to get right into this, and we're going to do a quick version of the game. So jump on board 954-417-0070. Tony Segreto, we're going to get Tony in also at 8 o'clock today. So we'll have about 20 minutes of the trivia challenge, and back with that in a moment. Now that
The time.
7:43.
Folks, Tony Segreto here. Let me ask you a question. What do you look for when you go out to eat? Good food, obviously, friendly atmosphere, not too loud, but good energy, reasonable prices, and a place where you feel comfortable. All those ingredients, no pun meant there, are hard to find unless you're talking about the Texas Roadhouse. You see, they encompass all of those attributes. Really, really good food, amazing atmosphere, good for a family, good for a date, or just a night out for yourself, and prices that will make you extremely happy. Their ribs, unmatched. Steaks, hand cut every day. Everything, and I mean everything, is made on site, including their incredible bread. It's the one day, folks, that you can forget about low-carb diets. Trust me when I tell you, Texas Roadhouse, your restaurant, your destination when you say, where should we go and eat tonight?
From the newly renovated sports bar to the beautiful bayside views captured at the Tiki Bar, Jimmy Johnson's Big Chill has it all. Located at mile marker 104, the Big Chill also offers waterfront dining while experiencing breathtaking sunset views of the Florida Keys. It's simply the hottest spot in the Keys to cool off. That's Jimmy Johnson's Big Chill at mile marker 104 in Key Largo. For more information, call today at 305-453-9066.
Oh, Solo Volante will be coming late. Oh, Solo Volante. The Belmont's now a mile and an 8. The finish line is coming up quick. Luca Panici just switch the stick.
The only way to get your game started is with Defo, joined by Lubie, right here on the Defo Show.
How many gambling?
All right, welcome back to the show. We're going to go quickly here. What would it be? A lightning round version of the Hialeah Park Trivia Challenge. Going to play as many as we can before 8 o'clock. Dave, looking good today. Dave Gurggles Gergely, always looking fresh. And a reminder that you don't necessarily have to age as ungracefully as I am. But it's good to see you, David. All right, 954-417-0070. I'll give that slowly so you can actually comprehend it. 954-417-0070 on the phone lines. Let's get right into it. Dave, toss out your first set of questions.
Little Easy Baseball in honor of the Paulie Man. We're thankful for him for the many years he was our partner on this show.
He's doing well, by the way, and talking a comeback. Not necessarily, what we would consider normal for, his coming back to the show, but things are happening in the Paulie Man's life that are good. So that's good.
Good. And for James, who's on the line, yes, there will be World Cup questions today. But we'll start off with some easy baseball.
All right.
This baseball funny man, appropriately enough, on Thanksgiving Day tradition said, vegetables are a must. I suggest carrot cake, zucchini bread, and pumpkin pie. What's that? Bob Uecker, Bob Barker, Fess Parker, or the Parker brothers?
All right, to the random phone scrambler, Mike Lubie Lubitz. Hey, look at that. I think it's appropriate. We start out the holiday season with the Chronic, Lenny the Chronic. You're on the Hialeah Park Trivia Challenge. Good morning, sir.
Happy Thanksgiving, guys. Good morning.
Same to you, Lenny.
Thank you.
We're thankful.
Thank you for your show. It always brings a lot of fun to my morning.
All right, we got a short show. Move it along, will you? All right, here we go.
Very thankful, Greg.
I could see Lenny frying up a turkey in the backyard, though, like a 30-pounder.
Nah, I can eat one, though.
Drop it right in the fire. All right.
Baseball, true or false, Lenny? Believe it or not, game show host, the popular 70s, probably and 80s host, Bert Convy, was signed by the Philadelphia Phillies out of high school and played a couple of years of minor league baseball. True or false?
Yeah, let's say true.
Seems possible.
It is.
All right.
It is true. He did, yeah.
Kind of an athletic baseball look to him, Bert Convey. Very good, Lenny. 2 for 2. A rare true-false question, correct?
Okay.
All right, Lenny. World Cup soccer. Diego Maradona won just one World Cup with Argentina as a player. It came versus whom?
All right.
Brazil, France, England, or Germany?
Let's go with France.
I'm going to go Germany.
No. Germany. They beat Germany 3-2, even though Maradona did not score during the game.
Very nice. All right. Going for 7 points here, Lenny.
All right, here we go. Football, Lenny. Matt Ryan's 39 yards rushing at age 37. He became the oldest quarterback to rush for more yards than his age on a single play. The last to accomplish this feat was 36 years old, rushing for a 38-yard touchdown on a Monday night football game. Who was that?
All right.
Was
Good
it
question.
Steve DeBerg, Bobby Brister, Ken Stabler, or Earl Morrill?
Oh, Jesus.
I would have said Jay Fiedler.
Let's go with Steve DeBerg.
DeBerg.
I would have said that too. We both would have been wrong. It was Bubby Brister.
Brister. Man, he was underrated, wasn't he?
We love you, Chronic. Happy Thanksgiving, my friend.
All right, that's it for Lenny the Chronic.
Yes.
See you in the
He
finals.
may be back in the game there. All right, dial us up if you want to play. 954-417-0070. 954-417-0070. While we get our next player together, Ray Gurggles, tell us about Perdomo Cigars.
Yeah, with the holidays, folks, it's a great time. You know, in between football games, you get a break before or after the turkey serve. Go out in the patio, go out in the Florida room, go out in the backyard and smoke a nice Perdomo cigar. Or while you're watching someone trying to fire up that turkey in the driveway, stay far away from it and light up the only safe thing that day, and that's a Perdomo cigar. 5150 Northwest 167th Street, right off the Palmetto, east of Home Depot, a little bit on the south side there between 57th and 47th Avenue. There's me in the Maldives, where you don't have to go there. You can go anywhere in South Florida, and you'll get a Perdomo cigar and any retailers that have them. But they'll go to the original spot, 9 a.m. to 6 p.m. They'll be closed Thanksgiving Day, but open Black Friday, and you can go in there and get a Maduro Connecticut wrapper, a Lot 23 Edition Dos Silvio, 20th anniversary. We sell the champagnes right here at our Miami Lakes Golf Club, but any Perdomo cigar is made perfect one at a time. So go in, say congratulations to Nick Jr., who's going to be a father with his lovely wife, Lauren. Say hello to Donald, working the desk, and tell him we sent you here from the Hialeah Park Trivia Challenge. So this weekend or in the future, put something great in your mouth with a cigar from Perdomo Cigars.
All right, getting right back into the game here, and this could end up being a match race, but
All
we're
right.
going to hustle and get as many in as we can. Once again, you can jump on board there. Contact Lubie at 954-417-0070. Dave Gurggles Gergely. We had Lenny the Chronic kind of bomb out there with just 2 points, not a qualifying total, but could be in the finals. So here we are with our next set of questions.
Appropriately enough, soccer. This English national team soccer coach, after losing to Cameroon 3-0 in the 1990 World Cup, said, "We didn't underestimate them. They were just a lot better than we thought." What's that? Bobby Robeson, Bobby Richardson, Bobby Del Greco, or Buddy Greco?
Pretty good job of working some World Cup questions in here. All right, here's the scrambler. And all right, good. Andy, you're on the Hialeah Park Trivia Challenge. Good morning, Andy.
Morning, guys. I'll go with A, John McKay. Isn't that always your answer?
Yeah, always answered. Funny quips on football. I'm surprised I didn't see you at Nikita's this morning, Andy. Were you not feeling up to it? 5 a.m.?
Yeah, I was working. And then I got, well, I know death in the family.
Sorry to hear that. Sorry to hear that.
All right. Well, maybe this will give you a little bit of an uplift here if you can win the game. You have 1 point. You're going for 2.
I was at Chili's yesterday, and there was one person watching soccer.
In the whole restaurant?
Okay.
Yeah.
One person in the whole restaurant watching soccer.
Yes. And he was contemplating suicide, no doubt. All right.
All right. Ready? Boxing, Andy, true or false? Believe it or not, Mike Tyson and Evander Holyfield are teaming up to create edible cannabis products called Holy Ears?
Oh, Jesus.
True or false?
Well, if they aren't, they should. All right, I'll go with true.
I'm going to say true.
That is true.
Nice.
That is true.
That's
Anything for a buck, these guys.
Well, of
Not
course.
bad. Yeah. Tyson deserves it, right? After Don King. And I mean, imagine Ruth Roper and Robin Givens, what a number they did on his bank account. Unreal. All right, 2 for 2, Andy, going for 5.
All right, Andy,
let's
NBA hoops. Who did the Celtics trade to Portland to acquire Bill Walton in 1985?
Good question.
Was that Dennis Johnson, M.L. Carr, Steve Kaburski, or Don Chaney?
Well, I should know this. Don Chaney.
Chaney.
You should know it, but you didn't.
Dennis
M.L. Carr, the title waiter.
Carr. All right, very good. Going for 7 points here, Andy, in the lead.
All right, NBA. Considered by many to be one of the greatest individual performances in NBA history on Thanksgiving Day, Wilt Chamberlain had 63 points, 32 rebounds, and 3 assists for then the San Francisco Warriors versus
Ooh. Had to be the Knicks,
was
right?
that the Celtics, the Pistons, the Knicks, or the 76ers?
Well, you know, he had a quadruple double that day because he had 11 women also.
That might be the line of the opening for next week if Louis puts a new one together sometime soon. Very good. What do you think?
Well, the Knicks were the Knicks were when they scored 100. So
Yeah.
Yeah, we'll go with the Knicks again.
That's what I was thinking.
No,
he said all of his records
Believe it
against
or
the
not,
Knicks.
it was the team he ended up with afterwards, the 76ers, 63 points, 32 rebounds, 3 assists, and they lost 128 to 117.
Jeez.
Wow.
Imagine
All right,
63
maybe
points over in the center. All right, Andy, very good. We'll try and squeeze in another if we can. Otherwise, we'll go to the finals here and just play off in the abridged edition. The Chronic and Andy. You can dial us up if you'd like. 954-417-0070. 954-417-0070 if you'd like to make an attempt to play the game. What do you think of the Croatia shirt here? Do you recognize this as a World Cup shirt? I got this as another shirt I got from the lovely and talented Leslie Visser, which she was the
nice
queen of appropriate T-shirts. You would get a package in the mail there and open it up. It'd be the Final Four. Syracuse was in it, and we just adopted Croatia as our own personal team. Lubie and I, when we picked them to win the World Cup. Phil Shane, one of the great soccer announcers of all time, maybe second only to Andres Cantor. Whoa. That guy, I mean, is the most well known, and there's a reason he freaks out every time. It's because it's so rare that anybody scores, right?
That's
Otherwise,
true.
I mean, imagine Kevin Harlan doing soccer.
Oh, no.
I wish we could do or find somebody to do a Kevin Harlan impression.
Kevin Harlan
or Gus Johnson doing soccer.
One of them doing soccer.
Yeah.
You know, a guy that's
Johnson
had
would
a
be good.
fever pitch screaming the entire time, even if the gain is like only 1 yard on a run up the middle to open the ball. Can you believe this ground game? They're churning it up.
Oh, or the
That'd be
late
great.
Sam Kennison would have been good, too.
Yeah, he could have done a good job on that. All right, we're gonna play another guy here. So go ahead,
Good.
fire up another set of questions.
All right, here we go. NBA. This sports writer, after an earthquake tremor hit Los Angeles, said, "Wow, the LA moved more in 1 hour by the earth than Benoit Benjamin did all last season with the Clippers." Was that Peter Vesey, Peter Gunn, Top Gun, or Have Gun Will Travel?
Another great line for an opening there, Louie. Here's a scrambler.
I changed the open today. What do you?
I know. I noticed you did
open.
KD Cadis. Put that horse down in your book.
I know. I'm helping you out.
KD
You
Cadis.
remember.
Yes, that'll help me a lot. And probably won't run for another couple of weeks. But left in the gate, Gurggles, by more than 20 lengths. And kept coming. You always look for that horse. This isn't a trouble trip where he got bounced around a bunch. But, spotted the field 20 lengths and then came and got fourth. And was coming at the end. Just continued to come on, which, sometimes those horses make a little move. They get up to the pack, and then they fade back again. But I was very impressed with that first-time starter, KD Cadis. I'm sure I wasn't the only one that saw, this move after the very faulty start. But I thought, people were going to get a refund on this horse, but instead, maybe they got a chance to lose their money the next time he runs. All right, Mike, you're on the Hialeah Park Trivia Challenge. Good morning, Mike.
Hey, good morning. Happy Thanksgiving, guys.
Same to you, my friend. A is correct. Nice job.
All right, Mike, another World Cup question for you. True or false? As a youngster growing up in Wales, believe it or not, a young Tom Jones was quite a soccer player, aspiring to represent the World Cup until a badly sprayed ankle prevented him from trying out from the 1962 national team. True or false?
You made that up, Paul.
You're right, I did.
Yeah,
nice. Good job. Mike has good bullshit.
It's not unusual to be loved by anyone. All right.
What's new, Pussycat, man? We couldn't beat Wales.
There you go. By the way, a video.
He could have been playing for Wales in that game, and it wouldn't have made any difference.
Especially Netflix. See the movie Dream Horse, set in Wales, and in the end, they all end up singing Delilah in a bar. A great movie. All right, moving right along.
I love
racing
scenes, especially when they involve like Santa Anita or something like that, or the old days.
This
Park.
is set all over Europe, where these people are all broke. They chip in a couple of euro a week to buy a mare that was in foal to BNBN and ended up winning races. It's a great movie. Dream Horse.
John Voight yesterday on the episode of Ray Donovan that was arbitrarily being replayed on Showtime Extreme. They're at Santa Anita. He tries to rob a marijuana shop. They find out that instead of the $2 million that was supposed to be in the safe, it was $20,000. They end up at Santa Anita to go and get after the cop who turned them in. And they ended up, getting caught. But he's got the $20,000 in his pocket. He bets it on a horse who speaks to him as they're going around in the paddock. The horse actually talks to John Voight, brilliant as Mickey Donovan in this series. It's really amazing. And then they do a great job of feigning what it's like, almost like in the movie Luck, to actually be watching a race as fans. Really well shot, well produced. And, of course, the horse wins at 50-1, and they walk out of Santa Anita with a bag with $1 million in it, which was great. That doesn't happen in real life, but it was a great scene in Ray Donovan. All right, here we go, Mike.
Tampa Bay Downs opens today, so there's hope.
Oh, wow.
All right, here we go. 3-point question. NFL Thanksgiving. Thanksgiving days have been traditionally included by one game hosted by Detroit and one by Dallas since from between 1975 and 1977, though, there was a different team hosting one of those games. Which team was that?
That's a good
question.
The
Giants, the Broncos, the St. Louis Cardinals, or the Philadelphia Eagles?
Oh.
Philly.
I'm going to say St. Louis.
St. Louis Cardinals, yeah. They hosted the 75 and 77 Thanksgiving Day game. All right. Well, 5-point question.
At 7 points.
Okay. Back to the NBA. Voted as one of the top 5 performances in NBA on Turkey Day. Believe it or not, Andre Miller for the Clippers on that day totaled 37 points, 16 assists, and 3 rebounds, shooting 58% from the field when they won 126-118 in overtime over the New Jersey Nets, the Milwaukee Bucks, the LA Lakers, or the New York Knicks?
Knicks.
Close geographically. No, New Jersey Nets.
All right. How about the Nets yesterday? Did you see this? They lose to a Philadelphia team.
So Mike, hang around.
Didn't have Maxey, didn't have Embiid, and didn't have James Harden. And Philadelphia beat them outright. Where, that was one of those games, too, that you would have bet every dollar in your pocket that the Nets win. They, got Kyrie back. They have Kevin Durant. They'd won some games without Kyrie Irving. Looked like they had it back on the right track. They got Jacques Vaughn coaching now. Steve Nash is gone. They go into Philadelphia and they lose outright and handily also. It wasn't even like a close ball game, like a 10-point margin. All right, we're going to put together the finals here. Gurggles, of course, we want to wish you, before we get to this final question, the happiest of Thanksgivings. And now
same to you in a Mustang?
What kind of food do you get involved with on Thanksgiving? How do you handle that?
Well, I'm a traditionalist. I'm a turkey guy. I'll have some turkey. Right. I've got some friends invited me. I'll stop by. I'll bring some wine. I don't do any cooking, but I'll be enjoying the day. And there's all kinds of comedy movies on the movie channel that I might watch before some football. Last night was a Frank Sinatra marathon with Von Ryan's Express, None But the Brave, and a couple Tony Rome detective stories from back in the old Miami Beach days. So I'll be watching some of that nostalgia stuff myself.
You could get by with just channel 33 and 39 here locally, I believe. You know, with the oldies shows.
I'm a big supporter of PBS, Channel 2
Oh,
and
yeah,
Channel
yeah.
17. Yeah, I love them.
No wonder
And the
you have
movie
this
channel.
natural intellect that comes through on the show, as
Well,
opposed
no, that's
to the.
just questions I made up.
All right, we have the final set. We're going to get right to it.
Good.
Tony Segreto is going to join us here shortly, as he always does on these Wednesdays with Old School with Tony Segreto, brought to you by Texas Roadhouse Restaurants and Catholic Health Services. Mike and Andy going to do the finals. And so here's the showdown, and Gerg's going to fire off the question. Call out your name, guys, if you want to answer right away. Nobody answers right away. We offer multiple choice. First person to call out his name gets first choice. We go back and forth until we have a winner. Here we go for the championship on this pre-Thanksgiving special of the Hialeah Park Trivia Challenge. Good luck. Here's Dave Gurggles Gergely.
Good luck, guys, and we'll probably see Tony next Friday as the MC for
Yes.
Oh,
our
yeah,
Little dinner.
yeah.
He's always
Hialeah.
there. He does a great job.
He
Really
is tremendous
great
at
job.
that. He really is.
Okay, here you go, guys. Good luck. And where else but the World Cup? What is Joseph Gaeten's World Cup claim to fame?
Good question.
Joseph Gaeten's, Gaetens. Don't look it up on your phone. What's his World Cup claim to fame? Nobody?
Here we go.
All right. A, he scored the winning goal in Cameroon's upset win over England. B, he was the French player who headbutted the Italian player in the World Cup finals and was disqualified, enabling Italy to win the World Cup. C, he scored the only goal in the 1950 U.S. 1-0 upset over England. Or D, he invented the vuvuzela.
Mike,
Yes,
Mike, what was it?
What'd you say?
B.
B.
B, the French player? No.
No.
Andy, three
All right.
left for you. A, he scored the winning goal in Cameroon's upset win. C, he scored the only goal in U.S.'s 1-0 upset win over England in 1950. Or D, he invented that wretched vuvuzela.
The Vuvuzela, yeah.
I'm going. All right, so my thinking is there's a lot of jockeys in South Africa named Joseph, and Cameroon is near South Africa, so I'll go with A.
Good deduction.
Good logic, but not even close.
Incorrect.
All right. Mike, did he score the only goal for U.S. in their 1-0 win in 1950 over England, or invented the vuvuzela, which I can't pronounce?
What do we say?
What'd you say?
Mike?
C.
Mike, are you there? What?
C like cat. C like cat.
C.
See, that's right. He came from
Nice,
Haiti.
Mike.
His father
Yes.
immigrated to the United States.
Oh, wow.
And if you had Thursday or Monday's New York Post, the big story about him in there. He scored the winning goal when the U.S. upset England 1-0.
I thought he invented the Vuvuzela. I was going with that all
No.
the way, man.
I can't pronounce it even, so don't worry about
There was
it.
always a fat kid in left field at Shea that was playing a Vuvuzela, and they sold them right outside the stadium and allowed people to bring them in back in the day at Met games when they first opened up. And all game long, right, when it was like a rainy day in April and you're trying to sell some souvenirs. And out of the corner there, just inside the foul pole, you'd see two fat kids. Ooh, one had the orange, one had the yellow. I mean, if you were a sniper, you would have taken them out. That's for sure. All right, Dave, you have the greatest of Thanksgivings.
We love you.
Always
too,
a pleasure.
guys.
Good job. And
Yep,
congratulations to our winner.
Say hello to Tony Segreto for us. Have a great show.
All right, very good. Dave Gurggles Gergely. We're going to get right into Tony here in
Segreto.
just a couple of minutes.
I have him right here.
Oh, look at that. Tony Segreto with a backwards Yankee hat. Or else, we have this thing that's...
I think, it's a
the old
mirror.
reverse image. How are you, Tone?
I'm doing fantastic. It's actually the old school retro Yankee hat that is back in the 40s and 30s. And I found it and was able to okay, I'm going to bring out the vintage one since this is old school.
It is.
I'm going to bring out the vintage one. I'm doing great. I love listening to Dave and listen to all these great questions. So, hey, it's.
Are you a World Cup guy? Just before we get started.
Yeah, I tune in. I mean,
Yeah.
I'm not crazy over it.
All right.
I want to see what you.
So you don't pretend to like the game all of a sudden, like it's
No.
the greatest game. Okay.
No.
All right.
That's great.
I have
I respect that.
we have way too much going on with
Yeah.
with what we have to work with and deal
Yeah.
with in my jobs and the responsibilities that I have, that at some point you just don't have the time anymore.
It's a bad time of the year for it, right? I mean, you might be inclined to try something new if the plate wasn't so full, so to speak, in the sporting world. But I mean, with all the different things that are going on, if you're not a fan of soccer, it's hard to just drop all of the other stuff.
It is.
And say, "Whoa, I can't wait to," But in the summertime, when you only have like Major League Baseball and it's the dead of summer, you might be inclined to watch a little more of it. I believe that to be true.
And this is no disrespect to the World Cup, because what an event, and just so amazing. But in light of the fact, like in my world, I'm worried about college football. I'm worried about the NFL. I'm worried about what's going to happen next, and where we fall, and what this means to us. So
got hoops, hockey, all of that.
Yeah, and all the other things too. So, but regardless, I'm in New England on Thanksgiving Eve. I could not be more blessed and happy, and I'm with you guys. So,
did you go out and catch your own turkey? I mean, how does that work?
Not this year. Last year we did.
Is that a place where you can hunt turkeys, Vermont?
Oh yeah.
Yes.
Oh my gosh, yes. We have two meadows, one right behind our house that we can, it's rather large. It's probably the meadow itself is probably
Segreto with a shotgun. I mean, I could see you in the shotgun, but not shooting one.
But we must have in the morning when I get up and the sun comes up, we probably have 50 turkeys in our meadow.
Oh yeah! Oh my God!
Oh yeah!
Are you tempted? What about with a slingshot?
No.
Oh my God!
No.
No.
You'll go
But
to the store and buy a frozen one. All right.
When we first moved here, we were learning about the lay of the land and how all this works, and we befriended a beautiful family, a couple, and they sort of taught us the ropes. And our 5th year here, we have these meadows that are just they're beautiful, and they're probably anywhere from 5 to 10 acres each. And so we actually did a trade out. We rented out, or sort of leased out, our meadows to this family who owned about 30 sheep, and they bring the sheep in the morning. The sheep herders would come in the morning and leave them. They would graze. So they basically kept our fields mowed. Yeah.
Wow.
And we were able to take care of their sheep. So it was a beautiful thing.
So can you trade somebody off for a turkey? I mean, to use the space there behind the house?
We actually got our live turkey last year.
Oh yeah.
The farm and
you got a live turkey?
Well, we didn't. I mean, we had it taken care of prior to getting it.
I can't see you snapping the neck of a turkey.
When we're gonna really pull the curtain back. When my father, God rest his soul, in the 20s and 30s, my grandfather bought my father a turkey farm, and my father was a turkey farmer.
Oh yeah, get out of here! I thought he was a
New York or Jersey.
He was no. Well, then after that, he became he was a tailor in New York, and moved from there. But he was
taking a few bets. All right.
Yeah, maybe. Where do you think I get it from, man? Between he and my
I love your degenerate gene.
Now listen, my mother, God rest her soul, all of her brothers took them and gave them. They took them and gave them. Yeah.
Oh, nice.
All right. We got old school coming up. Good to have Tony on the show here to provide some good cheer before the holiday. We were saying this yesterday on the show. I mean, who better to kick us into the Thanksgiving mode than the overwhelming positivity of one Tony Segreto. It's old school with Tony Segreto. Much to discuss here on the program. It's brought to you by Texas Roadhouse Restaurants and Catholic Health Services. Ed Garcia. Wow. I mean, big underdogs to Ohio State. We'll get into that with Ed, his Michigan Wolverines.
Yeah, and plus I have to tell him an amazing story about
great. All right.
Segreto family and those Texas Roadhouse steaks.
Hey, that might not be a bad idea for Thanksgiving either. I mean, you're not thinking steak necessarily, but I would imagine, they're going to be very, very busy because what a great place. All right, we're coming back with Tony Segreto, old school with Tony Segreto here on the Defo Show in just a moment. Now that.
The time.
It's 8:11. Ponies in Style at Champions, the outstanding simulcasting room at beautiful Hialeah Park. Yes, the grand old lady of thoroughbred racing has never been more vibrant, and you can wager on the races from the top tracks around the country while enjoying a cocktail at the Brass Rail Bar or any of the fine food served throughout the facility. If poker is your game, you're covered in Style, and you can play all your favorite Vegas-style games, including blackjack, craps, and roulette, in Hialeah Park's sizzling hot casino. Get a player's card when you walk through the door for all kinds of generous amenities, including our favorite, free play, when you come out to the ultimate casino and entertainment destination, Hialeah Park.
Hey, folks, Tony Segreto here. You know, since day one, Catholic Health Services has been part of Old School. And since we've started letting people know about them, it's changed their lives. You see, Catholic Health Services, while being recognized as one of the top places for stroke rehab in the country, it's also about a group of people who not just excel in what they do, from the doctors to the nurses to the therapist, on and on and on. It's how they do what they do every single day that separates them from the pack. They do it with a passion, unmatched, and the inclusion of family in every step of the process. Trust me when I tell you this. If you want the best, unmatched rehab with a special group of skilled, caring people, there is truly only one place, and that one place is Catholic Health Services.
These days, we're all looking for comfort anywhere we can find it. Thank goodness for Landlubbers Raw Bar and Grill in the Plantation location, because they are making sure you are as comfortable as possible. First of all, they're not only open for delivery and pickup. All you have to do is go to landlubbersbarandgrill.com for both pickup and free delivery. Their hours have changed a little bit. Monday through Thursday from 3:30 to 10, and Friday, Saturday, and Sunday from 11:30 to 10. You're going to have the best wings in the world. You're going to have a great burger. You're going to have their amazing soups. Again, Landlubbers Raw Bar and Grill. It's nice and easy. Just go to landlubbersbarandgrill.com for both your pickup and free delivery. Thank goodness for Landlubbers for making you always feel right at home.
Does your bookie have an app, though? Everything's on an app.
No, he only deals with me.
Wow. I mean, what did you do for this man? Did you break him out of prison?
Say, what does that mean?
What did you do? Did you get him off some rap? He was with
like,
El Chapo. He was about to do life, and you called an attorney on his behalf. What happened here?
I'm like Costanza with the password for his bank account in that episode. I'm going to go to my grave.
Exactly.
Wow. I mean, you do get very generous odds. I would have to say. No, I mean, that would be all anybody that was a sick degenerate like we are could ever dream about is getting better prices than anybody else. Various ball games. So we'd still find a way. We'd still find a way to lose.
We are now kicking it old school with the one and only Tony Segreto. Brought to you by Catholic Health Services and Texas Roadhouse.
All right, welcome back to the show here, and it's a pre-Thanksgiving Day special here. We always have Tony with us on Wednesday, Old School with Tony Segreto, brought to you by Texas Roadhouse Restaurants and Catholic Health Services. Tony in his digs in Vermont. How many members of the Segreto clan going to be on hand here for the Thanksgiving festivities?
Well, our son is here, but regrettably, because of her Sunday night football responsibilities, our daughter Sam is going to be in New York for the Thanksgiving holiday. We were actually with her last weekend in New York, so we were able to spend her birthday together and spend the weekend with her. But because NBC has the Thursday night game, and they all the Thanksgiving night game, and they also have the Sunday night game. So she's jamming. She's she full week for her. But she loves it. She's doing great. She one of the things she does, she's responsible for, is the Carrie Underwood Open. So, needless to say, this
which is brilliant, by the way. I mean,
it really is.
That's the best part of the game, or has been for most of the season.
It's actually they've had some great games. NBC Sunday Night Football.
Thursday and Monday has gotten screwed.
Thursday's been awful for the most part. Like,
you know what? If
it looks like the World Cup on Thursday.
If it wasn't for Herb Street. Because I think he does a fantastic job. I think
he's adapted very well to the NFL. I will say
he really, really has. And you know what? I think his college expertise has really helped him in the NFL, because a good amount of these guys
he knows the players.
Really, really well. So, but I think Monday night has really gotten screwed.
I'm missing the good old fashioned color man in the Madden mode, though.
Yeah,
I mean, I know he was very unique, but and I was a huge fan of Al DeRogatis. Was the most brilliant, I think, ever in the role, although not well known to many people because, it was so long ago. But he was great. But, I mean, all of this analysis that you get after every play, you're looking to go, okay, yeah, that's what happened. That's pretty good. The guy spotted that right away, where this block came from, or what the fullback did, or what the formation was. But I missed the guy that just says, my God, man, he just blasted that guy into another time zone. Give me a little bit of colorful analysis in your color analysis.
I agree. But listen, how about this weekend? Is this like going to be the best in terms of rivalry weekend? I think it's. I mean, you look at these matchups, but I'm surprised at some of the spreads. I mean, Florida State's a 9-point favorite over Florida? Who would have ever thought we would see that?
and ranked in the college football playoff.
Ranked.
I mean,
and probably if you were to talk about the hottest teams right now in college football in terms of where they kind of the skids they were under and where they are now, certainly Florida State comes to mind, Notre Dame comes to mind,
LSU.
LSU comes to mind. Yeah, these teams have really gotten hot at the right time, and I think it's interesting that the Irish now becomes a critical cog in what happens.
Oh yeah,
they play a major role.
I mean,
they're in there with a chance for the upset. Also, I believe that.
Oh no, for sure, they can mess everything up.
Forget the USC game, but think about how they will impact Clemson. They will impact Ohio State, right? Because they steamrolled Clemson. They barely lost to Ohio State, but they're factoring in on this. And then if they beat USC, I mean, everything is in chaos then. Absolutely.
Yeah, they screw everything up. Yep.
Absolutely, everything is in chaos.
Let's get into the big game of the weekend here. And, this is going to decide a lot, and it'll be interesting to see how the College Football Playoff Committee, if this game is close, eliminates both teams from the college football playoff so they can put LSU in with 3 losses maybe. And we bring in, and I'm not sure when, I know Texas Roadhouse is a great company, and I would imagine they have a substantial and significant bonus plan. And certainly this man would be in a position to capitalize greatly on that with the tremendous work he does all around the country. I mean, you can sense his energy and his dedication to the company would be worth any amount of money that they would bestow upon him. Would you bet it all on Michigan getting 7.5? 7 and a hook being disrespected by these cretins from Ohio State. What do you think? Would you put it all, the entire Christmas bonus on there?
I will put my entire Christmas bonus on it because I will bleed maize and blue. Absolutely.
Yes. All right. So you don't mind going down in flames, capitalize, as long as your emotions are also on the same parallel. That's great. What do you think about this? I mean, I thought that was a rather generous spread to get a touchdown plus with Michigan in this game.
I'll tell you, I'm very excited. I don't pay a lot of attention sometimes to the spreads. I always find it very interesting. And I tell you, the people that put all that stuff together,
amazing.
It's really incredible on how they put that together. But even this past weekend, I know Blake got an injury, but we got nowhere close to covering the spread. And Jake Moody came in for the win and with that field goal, which, fun fact, I'm sure you guys covered, that's his first game winning field goal ever, which was pretty cool. But
no pressure there.
No pressure at all. And but he definitely probably got himself a little bit bigger check coming up this next year. But anyway, I'm just really looking forward to some good football. I'll tell you, it's been 16 years since they've both been undefeated. I was actually at that game. It was at Ohio State. It's what started the trend for Ohio State winning. And I'll tell you, it was an incredible game. I walked out of that game in 2006, head held up high because Michigan played some incredible football. And I think that's what we're going to see on Saturday. You're going to see like how I'm going to put everything out there. These boys are going to put everything out there too. And you just can't pay enough money for that. That is just very, 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 very exciting stuff.
Shame on them if they don't put everything out there.
Oh, 100%.
For both teams. But, I have to tell you, this game intrigues me so much because it's going to have such an impact on where we wind up on championship weekend. But my only concern for Michigan, and I'm going to be pulling for Michigan just because of you, honest to God, because
plus I hate Ohio State.
Well, yeah, I hate Ohio State.
I hate Ohio State.
And since my wife is from Michigan, I don't think I have a choice. But here's my concern. My concern is that Ohio State starts to speedboat them quick, and I don't think Michigan has the kind of offense and firepower to match them touchdown for touchdown. I think that Michigan needs to keep Ohio State's offense off the field as long as they possibly can.
Yep.
So that's my concern. But listen, the game is in Columbus. And you've been to the Horseshoe, right, Ed?
Oh yes.
Oh yeah. I mean, it is a tough place to play. So I'm going to be texting you during it. Where are you watching the game from? I want to know.
From my couch, where no one can bother me because I am.
So, all right.
But you're in a crowd.
Yes. I've done the games. I've probably been to about 16 different. Michigan, Ohio State games. And, And but there is nothing like being able to watch a replay and yell at your TV. I mean, that is right there.
That's very Lubie-esque. Yes.
Okay.
My own heart.
We have one favor for you on Old School here. And we want your wife to take a picture of you in your full regalia, and we will put it on our Facebook page along with all of our other fans. And we'll make sure that you get the perfect and the right cheering group to support everything you're doing. Now,
Absolutely.
I have to tell you, my son is with us, and he came in from Atlanta to celebrate Thanksgiving, and we still had a couple of ribeyes from the butcher shop that they had ordered. I have to tell you, it was, my son did a remarkable job of preparing the steak, but he and I were talking about it last night. It wasn't just the way he prepared it. The steak itself was incredible. You could have cut it with a fork. I mean, it was marbled perfectly, tender as you could have it. And folks, I'm telling you, if you don't want to go out and you want to, I realize it's kind of late to order it now for Thanksgiving, but you still have Christmas coming up.
The whole weekend too.
Yeah, I would dash the ordering from Texas Roadhouse. And again, Ed, the website for the butcher shop is what?
Just look up Texas Roadhouse Butcher Shop and it'll pop right up, and you can place an order for a variety of steaks, and you can also get our seasoning. It's a little bit different, but that's a pretty cool secret.
We used it.
You can do that right there.
We used the seasoning on the steaks. We actually used the seasoning last night as we did some air frying with vegetables, and it was fantastic. And I will tell you this: it's just we need to order more now, because I mean we're so hooked on them. But I just want people to know how special it is. And if you don't, just go to the restaurant, right? Well, you guys are going to be closed for Thanksgiving, correct?
That is correct. Christmas and Thanksgiving were closed.
No. Well, you still have tonight to go if you don't want to get out of the kitchen, and you'll have Friday to go if you don't want to have leftovers until Saturday, and you'll be able to watch those great games.
And promise me this, Ed, that you will never hire Gordon Ramsay as a chef at any of your restaurants, because I had a $90 ribeye at Gordon Ramsay Steakhouse, and I was thinking I could have had 3 or 4 of these at Texas Roadhouse. Would have been just as good.
Absolutely. No, I'll tell you, our teams and each restaurant has an owner operator. They are very selective of what comes in through their back door. And, between that and the butcher that we have in-house, that cuts over 2,000 pounds a week. I mean, they go through and, they really, go over every single loin and muscle to make sure that it is absolutely perfect for that guest. And I think that's, one of the things that separates us and really keeps those prices low, so that way everyone can enjoy our steaks.
Yep. And to give you all an indication about the bread, because I talk about the bread all the time, how much bread do you go through per week, Ed Garcia, at any Texas Roadhouse?
Wow, that is got to be, I'd say almost 100,000, but I will for sure get you that answer next week. I'll get you the average of my restaurants and what we do, but it is something absolutely incredible. Which, on a side note, reach out to your local Red House. You may be able to pick some of that bread up tonight and serve that tomorrow. I know Lubie will pass it off as his own fresh baked bread. But definitely, and a couple of the restaurants, you can think about this for Christmas, do it frozen. You buy it frozen, you take it home the day before or that morning, you actually pull it out, it proofs, and you throw it in the oven. Just, put a little bit of that honey cinnamon butter on the side, and you are good to go.
Good to go.
Great idea.
They'll be calling him Chef Lubie.
That's the thing. I mean, can we pretend we made it ourselves? We only ask that you don't rat us out when we get to the family gathering for dinner.
Yep.
We love
awesome.
And listen, working.
Good luck, man.
We're pulling for you. Let's go Amazing Blue, and let's see if Michigan can bring this home. And
I want to see Ryan Day face down on the field.
I would love nothing more. Nothing more.
All right,
nothing.
Guys. Happy.
Yeah. All right. Excellent. Ed Garcia, ladies and gentlemen.
Hey, listen. Though I have to tell you, there's no joke, man. We had this. There were the three of us. These 2 steaks, in fact, we have leftovers. We'll have it for lunch today. I mean, it was incredible. Absolutely. And they're such good people.
Like, I love that
Pardon me?
you're making your son grill out in like -10.
Yeah.
Isn't it like 15 degrees there now?
I'm not making him do anything. He chose to do what he wanted to do. He's 28 years old. He's
Oh,
had
he
a
can brave
great
that cold.
he's had a great education. You know what? A nice bourbon while you're grilling is not so bad in the cold. You know?
No, it's great, man. You have on the table, instead of salt and pepper, you have chapstick.
Exactly.
Wild turkeys running
And-
around.
Oh, my
Image,
God.
Tony with a shotgun going, I got one. I got one.
I'm
We can
telling you,
all
listen,
eat
I
now.
gotta tell you. So
Yeah.
there's this
Oh my
there's this guy.
It's like Rocky Balboa, man. Unbelievable.
You really want to pull the curtain back? Listen, I can tell you where I live. So there's this guy that I see on the road every day. He is a true blue Vermonter. I mean, hair down to here, beard,
Right.
and we
Hasn't
always
showered
wave.
in
And
months. Yeah.
we wave and we chat. And he stopped the other day and we were chatting, and he showed me what he just caught, and he had just caught a beaver.
Oh, geez.
A rather large beaver.
I'm thinking
And-
Alabama for that.
And I said, "What are you going to do with the beaver?" He goes, "Well, I use all the meat for me." He goes, "I make jewelry out of its teeth, and yeah."
This guy lives near you?
Jewelry?
I actually gave him your number. The next time I don't get my checks, he's
Yeah.
going to call you.
Well, I mean, it's like living next door to Ted Kaczynski or
I was
something.
gonna say,
I mean, what is that? Does he have his own little post office in the house?
Yeah.
That's always scary in these rurals.
No, but a lot of these guys, you're talking about shooting the deer on turkey. A lot of these guys, and not just families, live off the land.
Live off the land, huh?
They really do. I
Beaver,
mean,
you're making
this is no
burgoo,
joke.
though, aren't you? I mean, isn't that beaver?
Who eats beaver?
Squirrel. Oh, no, squirrel is in burgoo.
Squirrel's burgoo. I've never heard
Yeah.
of beaver.
Yeah, but he's, he gets his own turkey for Thanksgiving, and
Does he have a little coonskin cap?
No, but you know what? Listen, he's got a beautiful home off the grid. Everything is solar.
How do he make his
mean,
money? Do we know?
This is he's a handyman, and he works 7 days a week. He's
Good for him.
really good at what he does. Nicest guy in the world. And you just gotta understand, people. It's a different world. And
He's a handyman.
they would much
He's living
rather
like Bernie Sanders. It sounds like.
he would much rather live in that world than live
Yeah.
in the fast-paced world that we live in.
I mean,
Well, and two, I mean, I meant to, we were trying to be positive here today, but I mean, it's another day, another mass shooting. I couldn't believe this when I saw this again last night. I mean, it's sad enough that you accept it being a biweekly activity, but my God, I mean, it must be nice up there, Tony. There's reason. That beach house in Costa Rica is starting to look more and more appealing to me as time goes by. But a lot to look forward to over this weekend too. That we got the 3 Turkey Day games. Got to get into that a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of college games, and then I don't know. I mean, people have been saying that we've allowed you to be a bit of an apologist for University of Miami football. I don't even know if it's
I'm not
important to discuss
I don't
anymore.
think people hear me. I just don't think I'm not an apologist. I think that they're going through some tough times, and you know what? If either here's the deal, folks. This is the reality. If you're a fan, you're a fan. If you're a supporter, you're a supporter. Whether they win or lose, you're with them. You may not like it. It's like you love your wife, but you get into arguments with them all the time, and you may disagree on things. So listen, it is what it is. Is it disappointing? Heck yeah, it's disappointing. Is it hard to take? Yeah, it's hard to take, but sometimes you need hard to take before you can get good again. And that's what I'm hoping. Well, let's see what happens next year. If we don't show improvement, we have to take another look at this. But I believe we'll get there at some point. And I talked about this last week. I love the fact how Mario Cristobal handled these parents who decided to go on social media rather than going to him and complaining about playing time for their son and all these different things. And Mario's response was, if you don't like it, if you feel free to come pick them up and take them home.
Wow.
That's the way it is. So enough.
He couldn't be too happy with this bunch. I just, and we'll get into this in the next segment here a little bit,
Yeah.
but and it's been a common theme for me throughout the year. And there are, you mentioned Notre Dame. I mean, this was a team with a new coaching staff, or at least a new head coach. I don't know how many of the assistants he retained, but under a new form of leadership. And while they started out god awful, they got better to the point where they actually are a threat, to knock off USC. in this game and are only 5.5-point underdogs on the road, where, early in the year they would have been 30-point dogs to a team that only had one loss and can score like that. And then, you're looking at other teams, even Lubie's Florida State team has shown improvement over the course of time. Now, they were horrible in their first year, as Cristobal has been, but I don't see improvement at all. I mean, it seemed to be regressing. The way they got cremated, I almost texted you, but then I held back during the Clemson game. That
it was terrible.
I mean, the early portion of that game, the final score, and they lose by 30. That was not even indicative of the blowout that this game was.
No, they were manhandled.
So I mean, that's my only real troubling thing about this whole Cristobal business. And I, like you, everybody likes Mario. He was a great guy. He was easy to deal with when he was a player there. And you always were rooting for him to maybe come back into the fold here, and it seemed like a great idea. But I don't understand how the team keeps getting worse. Week after week, we're always having this same discussion. And you would think good coaching would be able to overcome some of the, flaws maybe that they have on the personnel side. But that hasn't been the case.
I think that we are denying the fact that cupboard is totally empty, and that
was it though? I mean, was it really totally empty? That wasn't the impression that I had. I don't know. Maybe I missed.
Listen, I didn't think it was either. But
yeah.
With what they're asking these players to do in terms of commitment and devotion and work ethic, for some of these guys, it doesn't fit into their way of doing things.
Oh yeah, okay.
And all I can say is let's ride this out, and it's going to be a bumpy ride, and our asses are going to be sore. But
how significant would it be? I mean, in your opinion, Tony, being involved with the program like you are, for them to beat Pittsburgh, which they're going to be, I guess they're 6.5-point dogs at home to Pitt, who's played okay. John Kajemi, the ultimate Pitt fan, having played there in the footsteps of Marino at quarterback, was suspicious. That maybe this wasn't going to be so easy for Pittsburgh to win this game. But how significant would it be to make a bowl game? However insignificant that bowl game may be.
I mean, it's better than 5-7.
What do you think?
Yeah, I think it's. I think it's significant. I think it's significant just because it's for the guys that did play their ass off, and for the program, and for catapulting yourself into next season. It would be a wonderful thing. I think beating Pitt is the bigger issue. If you can beat Pitt, and then if a bowl game comes, great. If it doesn't come, okay. But finish the season off on a positive note on a team that is pretty good. They're not great. They're not bad. They're a pretty good team, Pitt. And right now, you'll take anything. We were rolled over by a really good Clemson team, and right now let's beat a pretty good team by a point rather than losing to a pretty good team again. You know what I mean? So I think that.
Did you ever go to the Emerald Bowl? Have you ever attended an Emerald Bowl game? Where is that? Seattle, the Emerald Bowl? No. Is that where they're heading?
I don't know. But listen.
Randy Shannon, I think one year he made the Emerald Bowl, and everybody was euphoric about that.
I just think that it's going to be it's a tough road to get back to being successful. Look at Florida State. They were ready to jettison Mike Norvell 5 games into his initial season.
Yeah,
they were ready to get.
Well, last year they were 0-4. I mean, last year.
And who was leading that charge?
Yeah,
you're looking at him there, Mike.
I was trying to fire him first year. I want to try Fuller.
And now, listen. If after North Carolina, this is an outlier, guys. So please don't hold me to this. But I want you to consider this: with North Carolina losing, and if Clemson beats North Carolina again or wins the ACC championship, Clemson is in the
playoffs.
Yeah, Clemson's in the playoffs.
Yes.
Florida State finds itself in a position as an outlier. They may make the Orange Bowl. Who the heck knows? I mean, I think it's a long shot at best. I mean, a lot of things have to happen, but man, oh man, I see Florida State going to a decent bowl now. I mean,
if they continue to win, Florida this week, is that their last game?
Yeah, if they win against Florida this week, they'll be 9-3. They'll have won
definitely
in a row.
Very respectful season.
In the top 12. I mean, they're 16.
Beat LSU, a team that's sitting there.
12,
yeah,
and they dominated LSU.
Yeah,
until that last 5 or 6 minutes. Like they're going to be in a great bowl. And yes, I just love that. As Canes fans are funny. Segreto doesn't do this because he's the one that was telling me to calm down about Mike Norvell. Canes fans will make fun of Mike Norvell as they're saying, see, Mario can be like him. Like, how the hell can you make fun of Mike Norvell as G5 Mike and then want your coach to take his route? I'm like, pick a lane, guy.
Right. Exactly.
Confusion is what's created by the discombobulation of the dominant program that we had. But that was a long time ago.
It was a long time ago. And
long time ago.
And things have changed. I mean,
it's over 20 years ago. It's amazing. It's 2 decades since.
Yeah, and the way things are done are different. The way the school is run is different, and all of these things play a role. This is no excuse, folks. I want you to hear me. This is no excuse.
Have you spoken via seance to Sonny Hirsch at any time recently? Because I would imagine he would be reachable in heaven from your digs in Vermont. We can't quite get there from here.
He's actually bookmaking for some of the Angels.
He probably would be.
I would imagine Sonny owns a piece of a Native American casino in heaven. That would have been his game, Somehow
Mike,
he would have lucked into that. Yeah,
Mike the Archangel is handling all the work for him.
Yeah. Now he would be making book. The funniest thing, I'm sure you witnessed some of this, but you probably were working with Sonny right before the advent of the score phone. Do you remember the score phone?
Oh my God, yeah.
All right, so I'll never forget this, because we're doing a UM game. It's kind of one of those 4-hour jobs at Mark Light on a night where it wasn't really all that pleasant to be sitting on cement. I remember the location there for the radio broadcast. There was no booth there. You just sat in the stands there. And we sat right next to the guys that for the entire ball game, for 9 innings, or however long the game lasted. And college games last forever because pitchers walk around guys.
Forever.
It's a lot of runs scored. Kenny Henderson was a highly touted recruit. He was one of the starters then. And he would routinely walk the bases loaded to begin the ball game, all on 3-2 counts with a lot of foul pitches. And the whole game, those guys next to us were going, rag on, like they were human vuvuzelas.
Yeah, exactly.
And we're sitting there in the midst of that, and your mind's getting a little twisted. You can't read your scorecard anymore because there have been so many runs scored, and you're blotted over guys batting 3 times in an inning. And Sonny, all of a sudden, out of nowhere, I mean, I'm doing the play-by-play for a couple of innings, and Sonny, all of a sudden, fires this. What was the thing? They had the beepers, right?
Yeah.
That had the score phone on them. And he fires one against the wall. And sure enough, I mean, I guess his 12-team parlay had gone down when the Tigers got scored on in the bottom of the 9th. And he had just found out about it. And we're sitting out there doing a game. And his mind was like 1,000 miles away.
Yeah.
As he looked like he was about to cash some get-out money. And he ended up with nothing. And then he would become sort of embittered about the situation. Like, are they going to get this game going or what?
Yeah, because he became very acerbic after losing big. He had that little book, that little baseball book. It was a booklet, right?
Yeah.
And he would have his number 2 pencil and mark down the pluses and minuses and keep up. I mean, he was one of a kind, man.
Yeah, he had the goal sheet under his scorecard.
Yeah, absolutely. He turned me on to the goal sheet.
I don't know what he'd be thinking about this. I mean, I don't think he could have imagined 20 years of, trying to get back to where you were a long time ago. But that's kind of where we're at with that. All right, Tony, tell us about Catholic Health Services here. Wait, let's do this. Let's toss in a couple of commercials, and then we'll come back. We'll talk about that and college football and all the rest of the stuff that's going on with the great Tony Segreto here on Old School with Tony Segreto here on the Defo Show. Back in a moment. Now that. I lost track of time myself there, Tony. It's 8:40.
I'm bringing back.
Folks, Tony Segreto here. Let me ask you a question. What do you look for when you go out to eat? Good food, obviously. Friendly atmosphere, not too loud, but good energy, reasonable prices, and a place where you feel comfortable. All those ingredients, no pun meant there, are hard to find unless you're talking about the Texas Roadhouse. You see, they encompass all of those attributes. Really, really good food, amazing atmosphere, good for a family, good for a date, or just a night out for yourself, and prices that will make you extremely happy. Their ribs, unmatched. Steaks, hand-cut every day. Everything, and I mean everything, is made on site, including their incredible bread. It's the one day, folks, that you can forget about low-carb diets. Trust me when I tell you, Texas Roadhouse, your restaurant, your destination when you say, where should we go and eat tonight?
From the newly renovated sports bar to the beautiful bayside views captured at the Tiki Bar, Jimmy Johnson's Big Chill has it all. Located at mile marker 104, the Big Chill also offers waterfront dining while experiencing breathtaking sunset views of the Florida Keys. It's simply the hottest spot in the Keys to cool off. That's Jimmy Johnson's Big Chill at mile marker 104 in Key Largo. For more information, call today at 305-453-9066.
Does your bookie have an app, though? Everything's on an app.
No, he only deals with me.
Wow. I mean, what did you do for this man? Did you break him out of prison?
Say, what does that mean?
What did you do? Did you get him off some rap? He was with
like,
El Chapo. He was about to do life, and you called an attorney on his behalf. What happened here?
I'm like Costanza with the password for his bank account in that episode. I'm going to go to my grave with that.
Exactly.
Wow. I mean, you do get very generous odds. I would have to say. I mean, that would be all anybody that was a sick degenerate like we are could ever dream about is getting better prices than anybody else. Various ball games. So we'd still find a way. We'd still find a way to lose.
We are now kicking it old school with the one and only Tony Segreto. Brought to you by Catholic Health Services and Texas Roadhouse.
I'll give you this on the World Cup, people. The game may be a stupid game, but these guys are pretty good at it. I'm watching the way the Germans move the ball, and they're up 1-0 on Japan right now in another thrill in Manila. But
and there was a penalty kick as well.
Penalty kick, of course. So I mean, that's the only way you can score in this game is to basically put a man in front of a firing squad. But no, they moved the ball pretty well. I mean, I'll give them that, Tony.
Sarni was asking me about the Orange Bowl if I thought it'd be Clemson, Alabama, and again, so many things have to happen. I mean,
Alabama's going to the Final Four. They're going to get them in there.
No, they're not. We're on.
I
have a college football playoff committee conference call today at 4.
Oh yeah, get out of here.
We'll learn
insulting
more
you on this
about,
whole thing. Very good.
No, they don't.
I thought they did.
We're in on this. I do want to tell you something. You were talking about Miami, and then you're sort of comparing it in a very loosely put way with Notre Dame, the new coach, and he has a completely new staff. You have to understand that there were a lot of athletes there beforehand, and the coach was there beforehand. And again, it still took them 3 or 4 games to figure it out. Now, here's my son and I have talked about this a long time about this new coach at Notre Dame and how since he went there and
seems like a great guy. I mean,
everybody loves him.
Yeah.
The key.
I'm rooting for him, even though I hate Notre Dame. But I would like to see him
I get it. A lot
succeed.
of people are. Yeah. Here's the thing. The thing Brian Kelly could not do there is get a 5-star, get a stud quarterback.
All right.
He never could get that stud. And that's where they think Marcus Freeman can really make this thing turn around and put themselves in a position to, compete with the big boys all the time, on a much different, the way they do it is that, it in South Bend is different everywhere else. But I think that he has that opportunity. And I think in Norvell's case, they have that chance too. If they can get that stud quarterback, listen, I think this kid they have there is terrific now.
The job done.
But again, he's got the way they've all bought in and the way he's recruited. I think that's critical. So we'll see now. Mario's getting some good guys despite all this season. He's got some 5-star guys. So, if you get enough of those 5-star guys who know how to win and know how to be part of a winning program, they look what Saban has done. I mean, it's been remarkable. They will not get in the Final Four. I'm sorry, they just won't.
I'm going to put that one on you, Tony. I think so. I think they're finding a way.
That would be
looking at bizarre scenarios. They somehow are hovering there.
That would be a damn sin. That would just be.
Well, I mean, it wouldn't be uncommon. I mean, as we say, I know the NCAA doesn't have anything to do with it, but I think the cloud of corruption will always hover over the mysteries that involve Alabama football right now with Nick Saban. All right, let's get into the Turkey Day thing. I want to see how you approach this from the pro standpoint, because now 3 games. Now, were you watching the Detroit games on Thanksgiving Day when Milt Plum was chucking the rock there? Because I think I go back that far, the plumber. And I do remember being bored to tears watching Altie Taylor average, for his career, 2.3 yards per carry. But on Thanksgiving Day, somehow he would remarkably turn it on. He was with the Lions, I think, for a couple of years. A very average running back by any NFL standard, but nonetheless, somehow he managed to shine on a couple
and
of turkey days.
and then graduated to those. First of all, it's tradition to watch the Lions, whether you're a Lions fan or not. Secondly, for my family, since my wife is from Detroit, pretty hard not to watch the Lions on Thanksgiving Day.
They've been interesting this year, actually.
And then, when Madden was in his heyday, he
yes,
just watching him talk about the turkey itself was worth the price of watching
turducken, man. That was a great thing.
Yeah.
And then seeing a guy eat a giant turkey leg. I don't know if you remember. You probably do. Remember when it was like Turkey Leg Jack or something?
Yeah.
Had a food truck long before food trucks were even thought about. And I remember he used to be at the stadium selling those turkey legs.
Yeah.
And every now and then, you would have the balls to go ahead and get one.
Yeah. So we'll have.
It was Cro-Magnon man. I mean, literally, you were eating a thing. It looked like you were on an episode of the Flintstones or something.
Yeah. We'll have that game on, and then Friday. And then, of course, we'll have all three games on. We'll watch our daughter's game on Thursday night, and then on Friday, certainly we'll be watching a lot of college football, and especially on Friday at 7:30. Right, that's when Florida and Florida State play.
Friday night, yes, sir.
Nice marquee showcase game for those two schools.
Yeah,
with
and then,
unfortunately parentheses, Miami out of the picture.
Yeah, and then we'll see. Then on Saturday, my goodness gracious, you start out with Michigan and Ohio State, and then you just move on, man. You just move on from there.
All right, let me get your opinion on a couple of these games here, Tony. Just see what you think, because there's some general themes that go along with these games. The Cowboys looked brilliant last week. The Giants looked like they were kind of coming back to the pack. They're sitting there at 7-3. The NFC East has been, surprisingly a good division this year, with Philadelphia leading the pack there and only having the one loss. They managed to eke one out in dramatic fashion against the Colts last week and Jeff Saturday.
My daughter's actually going to that, working that Philadelphia game in Philly. She's going to be in Philly.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
Oh, very nice. All right. So what do you think? I mean, I'm thinking the Cowboys, they looked so good, and they're very tough to beat on Thanksgiving Day, with apologies to Pete Stoyanovich and the Dolphin team and Leon Lett play. That was a classic there where they, Shula somehow managed to, get a win there. And it was
can I say
347. Were you at that game?
I was at that game. And
nice.
I share with my children all the time. Here we are. It's this cold, miserable day in Dallas.
Horrendous.
And
they can't handle snow, as Lubie and I learned.
No, they cannot. It's like Atlanta. They cannot handle snow.
Can't handle it.
And they couldn't get the roof closed, and it's snowing in, and there's already contention because it's Shula against Jimmy and that whole deal. And I'm sitting in the press box here this Thanksgiving, and me with being as family oriented as we are, and I'm you're by yourself, and there's this part of you that just feeling sorry for yourself because you're not with your family having Thanksgiving. Me and Harvey Green, God bless him, and I hope Harvey, we can send Harvey this clip. He and I sat at a high top in the Dallas press box, getting turkey and mashed potatoes and sweet potatoes, and he and I had Thanksgiving dinner together prior to the game.
Wow!
And we all
sentimental.
We both laughed, and sort of, we both had a moment of, just stop being wise guys and go, listen, this is still pretty cool. We are in Dallas for a Thanksgiving Day game, and we're sharing a Thanksgiving dinner together. How cool is this? And then who would have ever thought that we would have this Leon Lett legendary game at the end for Shula to win it?
Unbelievable, man. You see this guy sliding in the snow there, and he touches the ball, and that's it. You got the game-winning field goal all set up. All right, we're going to touch on the other couple of games. What do you think? I mean, the Cowboys look great. Giants look like they were regressing. Daniel Jones did not have a good ball game. Dayball was upset the entire time. But I would have to say the Cowboys were very, very impressive in this game with Dak Prescott now maybe rounding into form.
I think with Dak Prescott now seeming like he is back, like as comfortable as he can be, they are the team to beat. But at the same time, listen.
I want to see Jerry go down. I mean, I really want to see
Jerry go down,
dive out of the executive suite there.
And I want to see Jalen Hurts just kick everybody's ass. I think Jalen Hurts is such a great story. I think he's a fine young man. I think the way he's adapted and the way he's been playing with the Eagles, I mean, I just think I'm just rooting for them as far as I can take them. Now, I haven't placed anything yet, but I'm thinking about my wagers this weekend on these teams in particular. But I agree with you with the Giants.
You do a 3-team parlay on Turkey
My
Day?
son loves parlays, so we're going to do a parlay on. But I have to tell you,
what's better than turkey dinner and hitting a 3-teamer?
God, I'm with you. I'm with you on the Giants. You know, I'm surprised that they have fallen
were
back
unimpressive
a little
week.
bit. Yeah, they were. I mean, really unimpressive. It's almost as like, you know, they talk about when you're
Detroit dares you to get back into the game. They really do.
Yeah, they did. And you know, when they talk about when you're a high handicapper, but you're having one of those days where you're par, and you're going, holy Lord, what's going on? And then all of a sudden you get scared because you're playing so well, you wind up, you know, falling back to where you really are.
Shankopotamus.
Yeah, exactly. And that's kind of the way I felt about the Giants. It was like, oh my goodness, you know, we're Daniel Jones is playing out of his mind. We're winning here. The Giant fans are excited. And then last week, it's like, are you kidding me right now? Is this cannot be the same team that we've been watching the first 7 weeks of the season?
Well, and then you see Detroit, which has one of the worst defenses in the league.
Oh, God.
And Saquon Barkley, who's been tearing it up, and people were talking about, a candidate maybe to even be MVP. You hear his name mentioned, and resurrected his career from the grave, and he gets 27 yards in the game.
Yeah. No, listen. One of the reasons when I saw this hat in the back of my closet, because it's funny, my wife goes, I'm glad you're taking stuff out of the back of your closet. Now you can get rid of it.
I thought you went to a Vermont thrift shop and found it.
No. So, but this hat also represented the old New York Giants too. So you could wear this with a Yankee hat or a New York Giants cap, because I love the New York Giants. I was brought up with Tucker Frederickson.
Yeah.
And
it's cold up there. Your lips can freeze together.
Yeah, you can. But and you know, Charlie Connerly and all those, you know, all those just great Giant guys. And I'm a Giants fan, so I was excited to see them come, you know, start out so strong. And Daniel Jones seems like a great young man, and you know, a good quarterback for the Giants. And then last week, just like, oh my God, what happened?
Yeah, well, I was kind of digging Dayball and the whole thing that he does. Very enthusiastic. Seems like a good guy. You know, look, at 7-3, they can't be ashamed. They weren't supposed to be this good.
No.
They were, you know, definitely trounced in this Detroit game, and I don't think it was a good omen. You know, going against the Dallas Cowboys on
I think
Day.
the Cowboys are playing so well now. It's just I cannot.
You see, one play though where Dayball looked like he was suffering a stroke.
Yeah,
and I was thinking. I thought he ran away because I thought, you know, wow, if he does have a stroke and stroke's out here on the sideline, where would he want to go to recover? And that would be Catholic Health Services.
100%.
How about that for a transition there, Tony?
Nice. You actually caught Tony off guard.
We were running out of time, so I had to throw it that way.
Wow. I thought about this morning coming up to the studio here. Like, how much more can you talk about Catholic Health Services and tell people how great they are
all day long,
and have people believe it? And exactly, and it bears repeating. First of all, I mean, talk about strokes. God forbid anybody. They are the quintessential.
Hey, look how tough it is, right? Look at that Fetterman guy.
Oh my God.
Yeah, tough to come back from.
But they are Catholic Health Services is known as the number one place in the Southeast to rehab for strokes, and in many cases you bounce back better than you were before, or equal to where you were before, sooner than they ever would have thought. But stroke is just this one part of it. It's everything else that they do too for rehab, and they do it with such an expertise, with such a caring, with such a passion, with such a compassion, by people who love what they do. You know, there's a special breed of people who give of themselves, like nurses and doctors and therapists. I mean, that's a special group. Caregivers are, I'll tell you what, they to me are the people who should be revered and respected without a question for anybody. And the caregivers and the therapists and all the people of Catholic Health Services, all of them have this special gift. And it's not just the gift, Jeff, and you can attest to this, it's not just the gift of caring and of fixing you up, but it's this gift of absolute making you feel you're the only one that they are taking care of, and that the family are the only families that they're worried about. They have this amazing ability to do that every day. And this isn't false, false talking, or this isn't like, we're pretending. They really do care. And when they care like that, your loved ones are taken care of, and you can put your head down at night and go to sleep and feel like, okay, goodness me, I'm not going to have to worry about my loved one tonight. They're going to be taken care of. And isn't that what you want? And isn't it what you want when you take your loved one to get that rehab, to come back feeling better than what they were before, and having a company that involves you as well? And that's all that Catholic Health Services does. And God bless them for Thanksgiving. You talk about being grateful for people. We're grateful for them. We're grateful for Texas Roadhouse. And it's not just because they're sponsors. It's because they're good people who take care of people.
Yeah, you could tell that with Ed Garcia. I mean, a great guy. And they're real professionals. One of the things that was most flattering to me that anybody ever said in the business, I was working a boxing match with a director, and I hadn't worked with him before, a producer. And, he said, hey, they told us you're a real pro. And I thought, wow, you want to be a professional at what you do. And they are top-notch professionals. And I just saw a story in the news last night about a girl that recovered and was back playing volleyball for her high school team from the crash there in, what was it? The building that collapsed. And
The one down here.
And she had fallen like 9 stories or something. Was recovered from the rubble.
Condo.
And sure enough, they had her therapist that was working with her. Now, that wasn't Catholic Health Services, but I thought, wow, you really need professionals. The woman had done a remarkable job and was there to follow up.
Yeah.
And that's kind of how Catholic Health Services is. All right, we'll come back and wrap things up. I got a couple of more minutes of Old School with Tony Segreto here as our pre-Thanksgiving special. And then I think Tony's got to get into the kitchen there. And start cooking.
No. Listen.
Or no, he just sends his son outside.
No.
Are you going to make him schlep like 30 miles in the snow?
My wife is here, and my wife does it all. She's old school Italian. We've got
good.
The old Italian stuffing. We've got.
You have a lasagna working? Are you working a lasagna? That's the question.
No, lasagna will be for Christmas. We're doing traditional turkey, and we have some friends coming over for Thanksgiving dinner. And it's going to be a special day. It's going to be, and a lot to be grateful for and thankful for. And you don't want to be schleppy about it, but it's the truth.
Okay, let me ask you: does she? Because Italians and Jews are very similar in the way that they overfeed, and they're like, "You're skinny." But let me ask you this: because my mother, we all offer to help, and I don't mean air quotes because of fake offer. We legitimately offer, but we also know she will just yell at us, "Get out of the way, leave me alone." But then while we're eating, she'll do the, "Oh my God, it was the cooking. It was the." So does your wife do that?
No, she will. She
wants it
so
and
she owns it. She never lets them know you sweat. She is as gracious as can be. And we got a call the other day saying, "Hey, listen, some friends are visiting us we didn't expect. Can we have 2 more at dinner?" And Roseanne goes, no sweat. Nice. Absolutely. So the more around your table, the merrier. And Bucky and I talk about this because I hear from him every day, and we talk about
this is Bucky Dent for the
gratitude, and we're not schleppy about it. And we talked. He and I are involved. We talk to Jerry Narin every day, who's a bench coach with the Red
He has
Sox.
great teeth, by the way, Bucky Dent.
He still does, yeah.
Great teeth. No, he really does.
Still a good-looking guy.
Yeah, no, he was great.
So anyway, it's that time of year when not being schleppy and not being, modeling here. It's just be grateful, folks. We have a lot to be thankful for, man.
Well, and I have to add in this, and actually we'll just take it right out the door. Is that cool, Lubie?
Yeah.
All right, because my dad was the greatest Thanksgiving Day chef ever, and he did everything. And it was one of the few times that the relatives that didn't really care for our side of the family enjoyed coming over. Because he was such a great cook, and they couldn't wait for the stuff to come out of the oven. And he did a lot of special things. So I always miss that. And today would have been my mother's birthday if she was still with us. So I want to wish my mom in heaven a happy birthday. And naturally, very contemplative on my walk of life that I do every day. And, it's not really overwhelmingly tiring. It's just, a little time consuming. So, you run through a lot of different things. And I was thinking how lucky I was throughout my lifetime, if you were going to be in a positive mode, to have had such terrific parents that, I was able to, have them in my life for a long period of time. My dad almost made 89. My mom was almost 97 when she passed away a year and a half ago. So happy birthday, Mom. And Dad, always going to miss you no matter how great Thanksgiving dinner is. Never will forget what was going on there. And I always liked it. See, now I'm going to be interested in this Lions game against the Bills. But
wait a minute. Let's not lose the moment. Let me tell you what. I feel the same way about my parents who are gone. Thanksgiving was always a special day for them.
Very special.
And it's I heard this once before, and I don't know how corny it is or not, but someone said that memories are like a warm blanket. You wrap yourselves in them, and for that moment, it just makes you feel really warm and fuzzy and good. And I know we joke a lot about the differences that we all have, but it's nice to know that we have dear friends, and could not have thought to myself having Jeff and Mustang be with Rose and I at Gulfstream, thinking of this moment to be able to do a radio deal and do what we're doing now.
A long
Who
time
would have
ago,
ever thought? And I'm grateful for you. I'm glad that once
Tony
a week
Segreto.
I get to do this and be
great.
with my friends. And,
we're thankful for.
Old school, man.
I'm thankful for you
legendary
guys.
stuff, man.
Keep going.
I mean, just remembering Sonny Hirsch's
I'm
mood
telling
swings.
you, I will never, ever
during a ball game. I mean, a mood swing like you couldn't believe.
I will never forget the exhilaration of the Kenny Calhoun tip.
Oh,
and
yeah.
I will
Yeah,
never forget him almost breaking the Orange Bowl press box table when Flutie hit the pass to Gerald Phelan. And I thought that we would have to take Sonny to the hospital because he broke his hand. That's how hard.
Wasn't there a hole in the? I mean, that press.
There was a hole in the wall
that
happened because of a Thanksgiving game we lost.
Yeah,
that he punched, and
because that was. And did they frame that and put his name above that?
I don't know.
That was a pretty flimsy press box. I mean, the accommodations for radio were not exactly.
Listen,
lavish.
Before Howard built. I know we're late. Before Howard built the stadium, he built.
No, Lubie was ready to walk off here.
I know.
Said, hey, listen, Tony. Enough of the sentiment. Who do you like in the Bills game?
Hey, listen. Anyway, before Louisville bought their Howard built a new stadium at Louisville.
Yeah.
We did a game in Louisville, and this stadium swayed more than the Orange Bowl. And I got in the press box, and I looked at Sonny, and I said, Sonny, I don't care who the heck you bet.
Yeah.
But if you lose, you cannot go bullshit on us here. Because this stadium will collapse.
and he was prone to emotional outbursts.
And I told you he'd always call me by my name backwards. So he'd go, "Why not? Shut up! I got this covered." God bless Sonny.
Yeah. You always knew how his wages
had his glasses down here. Had a little his Doors miniature scotches all lined up, and the gold sheet and his cigarettes. He was good to go.
He was great, man. What a character. All right, Tony, we love you. And great job as always. Always a pleasure. Catholic Health Services, Texas Roadhouse, Tony Segreto, Old School.
Love you guys.
Tony, going to go out there and shoot a turkey, I think. Right.
I love that he's like mountain man.
Seems out of character for Tony, does it not? I mean, considering what he did for a living, I mean, most of us are not inclined to any kind of, American sportsman type activity.
He's an Italian-American born in Jersey, grew up in South Florida, went to like Miami, some high school in Miami, played baseball, and has been an iconic broadcaster. You don't think of him in frickin'
freezing his ass off.
With the goddamn
no matter how much clothing you wear, it's not enough. Even though you're used to it and more than well acclimated to, because it seems like he's been in Vermont year-round, this kid. No?
And since COVID, they've migrated and made.
I can understand the quest for serenity, but as I was saying yesterday on the show, I believe I need action, man. I need action.
Yes,
I need to know that there's a casino a few feet away that I can go start getting annihilated on the ponies on a Tuesday at Parks. I need to know that I can drive up the block there and maybe catch some great cat out of California who's playing live music for free in a dive bar. I mean, that's the kind of stuff you can't experience there while you're listening to, ooh, ooh, ah, ah. And you're thinking, oh, the wilderness, isn't it wonderful?
I don't know if there's monkeys, but I know
some orangutan is
the
swinging from a
turkeys.
tree there.
Yeah, exactly. Nothing but in Vermont.
Why do I have them in Africa?
I don't know. The wild turkeys isn't for me. You wake up 50 wild turkeys.
You guys have a
Okay.
great turkey day, Lubie. Now, where? It's at your mom's house as
Yeah.
usual, right?
Yes.
Now, are Shirley's
Next
parents,
year we'll start at
they
our
show up
house.
there and they get along with your parents? Oh, obviously they do.
They've
Yeah, I
been
saw them at the
there.
wedding.
They get along really well, actually. We've been there between our wedding, her sister's wedding. My whole family was at her sister's wedding. We actually get along really well. We do Christmases together. Thanksgiving we've done before. I'm working on this year. I don't know. Her sister's husband has some things, so I don't know if they're going to be there, but they're obviously invited. And we're not done yet because we will see everyone at 12 o'clock for my
Even Keel
today from Even.
Come on out, Commercial Boulevard on A1A. Always a great spot too. I don't know what grotesque behavior, because Brad really likes to egg Mayo into being, a person that you really have to question how he ever was the food critic for the Fort Lauderdale Sun Sentinel.
He was like, "What are you eating?" I'm like, "We don't order. Mayo orders, and Mayo usually does a decent job. The problem is Brad actually is in on it.
He has a special thing up his sleeve.
He always brings something that looks delicious and amazing, and it also happens to be disgusting to eat.
Yeah.
And Mayo really combines those.
Well, if you eat it without utensils, you're not even like
when he dug into
for 1 second considering that there are other people that are going to share this, which we end up not doing it. But you know what? I mean, you know what's great there, man? Fish and chips. When he brought that out that time, that was probably the best rendition of that.
Usually a standard dish.
I've been to a
but
lot
they
of
do
good
a really good job
places, but Even Keel Fish Shack really does that well. They do everything. So we'll look forward to that. That'll be a nice way to kick it off. And then I'm off to see Tommy T up there. I'm going to drive all the way schlep to, was that Boynton Beach Boulevard the place was on? Okay. I think I can find it again without the directions even, because it was you make a left, you make a right, you make a right, you make a left. And I'm going to pick up that Cajun food for the Thanksgiving Day festivities. I know Kelly, Jesse's wife, is a huge fan of New Orleans food. So I had that in mind. And who wouldn't like this stuff? So that's my day. I'm hoping the highways aren't too packed with everybody trying to get out of town. What do you think? Because I hate traffic now more than I hate anything. More than I hate Ohio State and Notre Dame. I hate traffic. I love not driving anywhere. It's fantastic. It really is.
I'm aware. I'm well aware.
Just the other day going down to Grandpa's, man. I mean, do you go on A1A or Federal Highway? Do you go 95? Either way, you're fucked. Yeah.
I was going to
say, either way, you're fucked. That should be the title of our book. Leave you with that thought. Either way, you're fucked, people. Have a happy Thanksgiving from the Defo Show.
Happy Thanksgiving. we love you. We're
it's
kind
of like going into the federal attorney's office to make a deal, and he just looks at you and goes, either way, like you're Ray Donovan. Either way, Ray, you're fucked. I've been watching some Ray Donovan. They've been
I can tell.
Episodes recently they've been playing. That thing was great, man, when Mickey hits on the 50-1 shot. John Voight was brilliant in that. Maybe one of the best character interpretations ever. John Voight as Mickey Donovan in the Ray Donovan series. All right, we'll see you at 12 o'clock live from the Even Keel Fish Shack. What grotesque behavior will Mike Mayo engage in today? That'll be the theme of the show.
I know.
And, for all of the Let's Eat South Florida Facebook followers, 93,000 people get to see this guy eat.
They still like it. What do you mean? The last one I said 1,000. It's over 1,000 views.
It's like being held in a rear naked choke for the entire show. You're like, you don't know whether to tap out or not. Oh, we love the kid. He really is something. He's a strange cat. There's no doubt. I mean, not that we're normal. Let's face it.
We all are, exactly.
You got to be a little bit strange to want to do this. That's for sure. All right, we'll see you later. Thanks for joining us, everybody. Have a happy Thanksgiving, and we'll see you next time as we leave you know that.
The time.
Damn snack.
Look what they done to my soul.